It is a chilly Saturday night in Daytona Beach. We are ready for the 62nd NAIA National Championship game. It's the Reinhardt Eagles taking on a defending champion, the Cougars, out of St. Francis. Hello, everybody. Great to have you with us. Drew Felios alongside the former Florida State national champion, Forrest Conley. Well, we had a chance to meet both of these teams last night. Forrest, you get the sense we could have a classic on our hands here tonight.
Well, you're talking about championship anxiety, championship frustration. Both teams want to get it done. It'll be an interesting outcome this afternoon.
All right, first, the St. Francis Cougars come in the defending champion, one of the best quarterbacks and running backs in NAIA football. Forrest, do they have a weakness?
Well, I think for this ball club, they have to accept the challenge. And the challenge is this Reinhardt defensive line. Those guys are fast. They'll come. They'll be relentless all through this evening.
And as far as this Reinhardt offense is concerned, it is certainly unique in offense. Unlike pretty much any other in NAIA football, they can grind you up.
Well, I tell you what, this is square chin football, old school. Run the football left, run the football right, run the football up the middle. They will run, run, run. That is their identity, and it'll be interesting to see what St. Francis can do to try and slow down this potent rushing attack.
If you love old school football, you're going to love this matchup tonight. All right, for more, let's send it down on the field to Kristen Bedard.
On one side of the gridiron, you have St. Francis looking to earn back-to-back national championships, something that hasn't been done in the NAIA since the 2008-2009 season. On the other side, you have Reinhardt, a newcomer to NAIA football, a club whose thumbprint only goes back 5 years, but they are looking to write their name in the NAIA record book as the fastest team to a national championship. But no, these two teams are no stranger on the field. During Reinhardt's initial climb to the top, they saw their season end not once, but twice by the St. Francis Cougars. Drew, Forrest, just know that these athletes have a lot on their mind right now.
All right, Kristen, thanks. A different type of energy in Daytona here tonight. This is what they're playing for, an NAIA National Championship. The kickoff is coming up next. Just gorgeous weather earlier on this week in Daytona Beach. Vacation environment for the NAIA National Football Championship, but this is a business trip for the Reinhardt Eagles and for the St. Francis Cougars. A look at Municipal Stadium in the heart of what is one of the country's most famous beaches. And there is Coach D, Kevin Donnelly, 2 decades with St. Francis, the winningest coach in NAIA history. Every player you talk about for the Cougars talks about their head coach and what he means to them. On the other side, bit of a different story for James Miller in his first season for Reinhardt. He has gotten this team now to the brink of a championship. He's a former offensive lineman. He's built this team on offensive line and defensive line, and we saw last night at the banquet, he ain't playing games for us. He wants to win.
He was an angry man, to say the least, at the banquet. And he's a former offensive lineman. He's an offensive line coach along with the head coach of this ball club. And that's just an offensive lineman's mentality. Remember, offensive line is the only position that's designed to hit someone on every play. And he looked like he wanted to hit somebody last night during the banquet.
Set to kick it off. St. Francis has won the toss. They'll elect to receive it as Nick Marquez will put it on the tee for the Eagles. There's Justin Green. Going to be calling his name a lot tonight. Just shy of a 2,000-yard rushing season for the Cougars. Last week, Reinhardt defeated Southern Oregon 37-34. It was a thriller in overtime to get here to this national championship. Meanwhile, St. Francis defeated Morningside 43-36. Both of these teams have had great runs, and it all commences here. NAIA Football Championship is underway. And we'll start off with the touchback for the Cougars out of St. Francis. Come in 13-0, mainly because of this guy, Nick Ferrer, senior quarterback. 38 touchdown passes this year. And remarkably, only 4 interceptions, nearly 4,000 yards. Force, they're saying this guy could play possibly at the next level.
Well, he has the three intangibles that you look for in a quarterback: intelligence, accuracy, and presence in the pocket. And that'll be key when you face a defense as quick and as fast as Reinhardt.
Three wide receivers in the game for the Cougars. First down, 25-yard line. And the first give is to Justin Green. Hesitates, accelerates, and takes it up for 4 yards. He was tackled by Tion Burrows, the sophomore defensive tackle. Justin Green, 27 rushing touchdowns on the air. He could be the X factor here tonight.
Well, what's going to be interesting for this Reinhardt ball club is, can they get stops or get hits on Green at the first level? You don't want to allow him to get to the second level, because if he gets to the second level, he's got a full head of steam going, and the third level defenders don't want to try and tackle this individual.
St. Francis offense, they have scored 587 points this season. That's the second most in NAIA football. 2nd and 7 now, setting his feet and firing, just shy of a first down, caught at the 34-yard line. That'll be 3rd and short coming up. Zach Gegner makes the catch. Impact players tonight brought to you by Brown & Brown Insurance, national strength with local presence.
Well, St. Francis will look to their leader, Nick Ferrer, to have another big game. The precision passing of Ferrer will be tested by the two bookends for Reinhardt, Javier Dyer and Tevin McCoy. The duo entered today's championship game with a combined 28.5 tackles for loss and 14.5 sacks.
So 3rd down and short, call it 2 for the Cougars. Here's Ferrer, stands in, 4-man rush coming after him, and he is going to scramble for a first down. So you mentioned all those intangibles. He can also run the football when he has to.
Well, Ferrer is a big kid, and you don't realize it until you see him face to face. At 6'4", 230 pounds, he has the ability to fall forward. He had man coverage on that play, but there was too much pressure. The pocket collapsed around him. He had a great read, which was to run the football, get the first down, and get down and avoid contact from the defense.
All season, Nick Ferrer and St. Francis have had a target on their backs and still managed to come in undefeated. The ball on the ground and recovered by Tevin McCoy. Now fumbled again. And who has got it? I think St. Francis may have gotten it back miraculously, and they did, as the center, Connor Holcomb, falls on the football.
And that looked like a bad quarterback-running back exchange. Let's see if we can see it on this play. Ferrer has the football. He fumbles the ball. It looks like Green hit his handoff hand, and you see Green stay with the play. That's why coaches tell you to always stay with the play. Green was able to strip McCoy and give the ball back to his offense, but a big play for this Reinhardt defense.
St. Francis.
Now, Force, St. Francis does lose the yardage, but because it was recovered by Reinhardt and then recovered again by St. Francis, it will be a first down.
Yes, because Tevin McCoy got possession of the football and was running towards the goal line, so it was deemed a possession for Reinhardt and a fumble and recovery for St. Francis.
Tevin McCoy, junior defensive end, 8.5 sacks this season. He is a player. So Ferrer to throw off play action. Nobody's open right now and just has to get rid of it to the Cougar sideline. And you can sense the Eagles defense getting after Nick Ferrer here in the opening minutes.
And let's watch number 10 at the bottom of your screen, Tevin McCoy, the speedy pass rusher. Now let's see right here. He gets knocked around, but he's able to scoop up the football. But you see, once again, Green staying with the play and knocking it loose. That is key, and that may be a turning point in this ball game, although it's still early in the first quarter, but that may be a turning point.
Certainly an opportunity missed by the Eagles defense. 2nd and 10 now. Feed Green once more, gets a nice block, and Justin Green takes it up near the 30-yard line. Stopped there by Jalen Holloman.
One thing I see early in the ball game, Reinhardt is playing a lot of man coverage. They're bringing 9. They're trying to keep pressure on Ferrer. They do not want to allow him to have time to throw the football. But what that does is that puts you at a disadvantage when a running back like Green is able to get to the 2nd and 3rd level because the defense has their backs to him.
All right, this is where the Eagles defense is very good, allowing their opponents only 23% conversions on 3rd down. It's 3rd and 3. Ferrer sets his feet, fires over the middle, and it's incomplete. So the Reinhardt defense will come off the field, and there is some helmet rattling going on right now.
And you see the effect of this Reinhardt pass rush. They had two players. They kept Justin Green in the backfield to help block Tevin McCoy on the outside to give Nick Ferrer the time that he needed to try to get down the field. That'll be key. If they have to continue to keep Justin Green and their other backs in the backfield for extra protection, that's one less man for Ferrer to get the ball to.
Otis Odom back to receive it for Reinhardt. Joe Knepper on the field for the Cougars to punt it away. Low kick. And drifting back, dropping the football. It's going to belong to the Cougars at the 30-yard line. An early turnover for Reinhardt, and St. Francis will be in business.
And these are the type of mistakes that you cannot make. If you can't get a clear catch on the football, let it go. You want to get possession. You cannot make these type of mistakes in a championship ball game. He was fading back. He tried to bring the ball to him. And let's see how much wind continues to play a factor in a ball game like this.
And already the turnover chain is out. As recovering it was Ryan Johnson, the sophomore defensive back, lending a hand on special teams. So a break for St. Francis. Let's see if they can cash in. Here's Ferrer to throw, under pressure again, and he's going down. Chase Hawkins coming off the edge. And that's a loss of 10.
And Ferrer has to recognize that Chase Hawkins, let it be known he was coming with the blitz. Also, Justin Green, you've got to get to that side. You've got to pay attention in your pre-snap reads. You see Green try to get over. It's a little bit too late. He tries to get a piece of him, but he can't. A great job getting to the quarterback. That's what you have to do if you're Chase Hawkins. If you're going to bring that blitz, you got to get to him, because if you don't, Nick Ferrer can hurt you.
These linebackers from Reinhardt are impressive. They can run. Second down at almost 20 now. Ferrer, another play action, throws right, and incomplete this time. Looking for Dan Rixey. He was covered tightly by Taylor Hawkins, the senior.
And early on, I think that Reinhardt is winning at the point of attack. Their defensive line has been able to get pressure on Ferrer. The defensive backs are doing a good job of staying with the receivers. They've got to find a way to block at the point of attack, not allow the line to get pressure on the quarterback.
Forrest, if they could figure out a way to get off the field here, it would be a huge boost to the Eagles' morale after the early turnover. It's third down. Gonna blow this play dead. As the draw was on, officials from the Heart of America Conference here tonight.
False start. 19 offense. 5 yards, play the down.
That's gonna push him back to the 44. And you can see Coach Miller fired up early on. His team very emotional last night watching Nick Ferrer at the annual banquet for this great event take home the NAIA Player of the Year award. You could sense the build-up from the Eagles, and they are letting it be felt here on this opening series. Burrows makes the catch, makes the move, and he is going to be hit at the 35-yard line. That is how you do it. Marcus Miller, the senior safety, brought the thunder.
And that's exactly what Reinhardt wanted to do. Keep everything in front of you. Keep them behind the sticks. Don't allow them to get the first down. You're not worried about a short crossing route right here. This is where you have to make tackles in the open field. And as you said it, Drew, he brought the hammer. That's exactly what you want to do if you're Marcus Miller. Make sure they know you're there.
Ferrer on fourth down wants to step up. Big play here, and it's caught. Sean Boswell with the catch at the 10-yard line. First down, Cougars. Boswell a little shaken up.
And you talk about a big-time play by a big-time passer. Nick Ferrer stood tall in the pocket. They only brought 3 on that play. They had, 4 on that play. They had 7 in coverage. But you see Ferrer climb the pocket and deliver a strike down the field into double coverage, and Boswell is able to get up and high point the football.
Sean Boswell a little shaken up. He's kind of like the Wes Welker of this St. Francis football team, a guy you can Send over the middle. Make the tough catches, move the change. This does not look good. First down for St. Francis. We'll step aside and come back in a moment.
We want to thank our community partners.
Establishing the family base camp on Daytona Beach is a time-honored ritual. Obsessive? Maybe. Scientific? Definitely. But absolutely authentic. On the original American beach. There's plenty to see on Daytona Beach, but you have the vacation chops to know. It's best to leave some of that eye candy in the wrapper. When others speedo, you speedon't. On the original American Beach.
Everything that I do can have an impact on somebody else.
Sean Boswell, a little shaken up. Did leave the field with some help. And hopefully for the Cougars, can come back at some point in this game. Here's another look at the play. Nick Ferrer delivers it. And those are the types of catches Boswell has made all year long, but look at the way he comes down, a little awkwardly.
Absolutely on that right ankle, and it was good to see him get up and be able to put pressure on it and walk off the field, albeit he had a limp, but he was able to put pressure on that leg and walk off the field. It almost looked like his ankle dislocated and popped back in.
Coach Kevin Donnelly, 39th season as a head coach in college football. If you're counting the games, this is game number 446 here tonight. So even though it's for a national championship, for Coach D, just another day at the office. The winningest coach in NAIA history. He is the godfather of football at this level. So it's first and goal for the Cougars. Ball spotted just inside the 10. They're going to pitch it to Justin Green. Gets a block and squeezes all the way to the 5-yard line. Man, is he fast.
You see how quick he is to the outside. He has those intangibles you look for in the running back: balance, vision, and change of direction. He had the vision to know to get to the outside. He had the change of direction to plant that foot and get north and south. And you saw the balance to fall forward. Everything that you need and you look for in one of your backs.
Well, Nick Ferrer, the quarterback, said it best. He said, if you want to stop us, St. Francis, you got to stop him. And that is not an easy thing to do. Second down now. Reinhardt trying to dig in defensively. In motion is big number 44, and that's a nice piece of defense by Kareem Warren, the sophomore defensive tackle, crashing from the left side.
And I'll tell you what's interesting about the defensive line for Reinhardt. They go at about 6 feet, 254 pounds, but because they're not the tallest guys in the world, they're able to get underneath and beneath these offensive linemen and get to the backs. On that play, there was a missed assignment because nobody touched Kareem Warren. He was able to get right through there untouched and get Green down.
5'10", 300-pounder is Kareem Warren. Comes from Macon, Georgia. Big play here, third and goal. Blackwell in motion. Ferrer fakes his way with time. Tosses sideline and incomplete. Zach Gegner in the vicinity, and now forced. This is where it could get interesting for St. Francis. Their field goal kicking has been a little bit of an adventure over the past few weeks. Gavin Gardner was hurt in his last time out, but Gardner is on the field right now for St. Francis.
And I think Ferrer missed Duke Blackwell on that play. When he came around with the jet sweep action, he had him real quickly in the corner, but he didn't go to him. He tried to find something else. I thought if he would have gotten the ball to him, he could have made a play to try to get to the end zone.
22-yard attempt from the left side, and this kick is up and good. So St. Francis, they avoid a fumble and a And a recovery by Tevin McCoy. They also able to get it back on special teams off the turnover for Reinhardt. And they finally get points. 3-0 your score, just underway here at the NAIA Football Championship.
Establishing the family base camp on Daytona Beach is a time-honored ritual. Obsessive? Maybe. Scientific? Definitely. But absolutely authentic. On the original American beach. There's plenty to see on Daytona Beach, but you have the vacation chops to know. It's best to leave some of that eye candy in the wrapper. When others speedo, you speedon't. On the original American Beach.
So James Miller in the ear of his defense. They were on the field a long time, pretty much half that first quarter. So far, the offense for Reinhardt has not been on the field. They will get a shot here.
And I tell you what, for Reinhardt's defense, you have to look at that as a victory. They turned the ball over deep in their own territory, and they were able to hold St. Francis to 3 points.
Odom's going to get another shot. He drops it again at the 8-yard line. And hopefully tries to hang on to it as he gets it near the 25, but something has got to be in his head right now.
Championship nerves.
Dylan Wiggins will start it out at quarterback tonight. He's a sophomore out of Ranburne, Alabama. Just over 1,100 passing yards this season, 7 touchdowns. Modest numbers, but this offense certainly not built on throwing the football. Well, looks like Wiggins going to stay on the sidelines, and Billy Hall is going to be the guy under center, the freshman. So it's been musical quarterbacks all year long for Reinhardt, and Billy Hall getting the nod. Andy Wazenek takes it up near the 30. Impact Players brought to you by Brown & Brown Insurance, national strength with local presence.
Well, you look at the 4 backs for Reinhardt. Mosley averages 9.9 yards a carry, Kane 4.7, Lanier 5.4, Stocks 9.2. This is a lethal attack. This is a 4-headed monster, and we'll see what St. Francis has schematic-wise to try and slow down this potent rushing attack.
Keeping it himself is Billy Hall, and the quarterback takes it up to the 30. Let's send it down on the field. Kristen Bedard with an injury update.
Well, guys, Sean Boswell's right ankle was getting a look at from the St. Francis medical staff, but since then they have retaped him. He's currently walking up and down the sideline here, trying to get it worked out, but the AD said he's expected to get back in this game.
3rd down and 5 now for Reinhardt, trying to move the chains here. This is what Hall can do. Turns it upfield, and he's got some room to run. through tackles inside the 40-yard line.
And you see what Reinhardt did. They moved the pocket. Everyone came along with the quarterback, Hall, and Hall made a great decision. You see the pocket going to the left. He's going with the pocket. He tucks it, he plants his foot, and he gets north and south. And you see the speed by Hall. At 6'3", he's a long player, and he runs hard, he runs tough, he runs through tacklers.
That's a 34-yard pickup. And now Reinhardt with Chase Jordan. Jordan with a blocker in front. And he is inside the 20. First down. The Eagles have got something cooking.
And right now, what they see is an ability to get to the edge of this defense. When you play a 3-3-5 defense like St. Francis, you have a lot of speed on the field, but you don't have a lot at the initial point of attack.
All quickly under center. This is Quay Stocks. Breaking tackles, and he is down at the 15-yard line, but these runners are not going down easy for Reinhardt here tonight.
And you're going to continue to see backs platoon in and platoon out. They want to get fresh legs. They want to make sure they have a fresh ball carrier every play.
Second down and 7 now. And this is Quay Stocks. Stocks has got some skill, but he's down this time at the 13. That'll be about 6 yards shy of a first. As 39, Eric Dutton, 3.5 sacks this year on the stop.
And one thing to watch for from this Reinhardt ball club is blocking on the perimeter. They've been able to get a lot of yards out on the edge, and that's due to the perimeter blocking of their receivers. Their offensive linemen are able to get to the second level. The down defensive linemen have to do a good job of blocking those guards, covering them up, and not allowing them to get to the second level defenders.
Third down and 6. Hall going to his left, hits his man, hit immediately, and thrown down. That's a good piece of defense by Spencer Coward, the senior defensive back. Spencer Coward saying he's playing in probably his final football game here tonight.
And you see, once again, they're moving the pocket, allowing Hall to have protection in front of him, and they're trying to deliver the football to athletes in space. But St. Francis did a good job of moving right along with the offensive line. Now, what I'll look for as this game moves forward is some misdirection, because you've got the whole defense now following the quarterback's eyes. Let's see if they go back to that play later on in the ball game.
30-yard try is no good. Wide right. So the Cougars defense able to hold. Reinhardt busted off some pretty big plays. Coach Miller in the ear of his kicker, Nick Marquez. 3-0 your score. Back in a moment. Well, in the semifinal to get here to Daytona, Nick Marquez was the hero. Hit a 48-yarder to send it into overtime. He misses his first attempt of 30 yards, and so far it's been all about missed opportunities for Reinhardt.
Absolutely, but they know that they are in this ball game very clearly, and I think that bodes well for them moving forward.
First down from the 20. Nick Ferrer working out of the shotgun, hands to Justin Green. Look at the movement, and the Jets. Midfield, and he could go. Justin Green, nobody's going to catch him. 80 yards, touchdown.
And once again, all of those things that I described in the back that you look for, you saw on that play. Justin Green was stopped at the point of attack, but he bounced it to the outside. He had the vision to see the bouncing, and he kept his balance right there. He almost fell down, and then the speed to outrun the entire Reinhardt defense. You had an initial thought that he might get run down, but he was able to outrun everyone on the defense. Taylor Hawkins had a beat, but he just could not catch it.
Extra point by Gardner is up and good. That time, Justin Green looked like another running back who used to wear blue and silver at the pro level. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Barry Sanders. And you see the balance. Watch right here. He gets the football. You see he doesn't see it right here. Bounces to the outside. Then he has the balance. And you see right here, he knows there's no one else out there. He looks back, takes a glance at Taylor Hawkins, and then he puts it in the overdrive. And he has those long strides. So he was just running away from Hawkins as he chased him down the field.
Forrest, I know that's a lofty comparison, but that type of movement, we see a lot of running backs at the college level throughout the year. That was pretty special.
Well, the things that you saw, the bounce out ability, the jump cut ability, the vision, the balance, all those things, and then the speed to top it off. Usually you see backs that have one or two of those intangibles, but here you have a guy that has all of those intangibles. That's why he came into this ball game with almost 2,000 yards. That's why he's averaging, in the playoffs, 201 yards after averaging only 145 a game during the regular season. He has been a key cog for this offense.
So trailing 10-0, Reinhardt trying to get something going. Odom back to receive it again. Remember, he's dropped the last two he's handled. Wrapped up at the 25-yard line and thrown back. The flag is on the play, as both of these teams really jawing right now.
And I tell you what, for Reinhardt, this is murky water time. They have to put points on the board. They've got to get something going. They need to get a sustained drive to keep their defense off the field. I think you saw a little bit of fatigue. Although Reinhardt had a decent drive and the defense was able to catch a break and catch a little bit of rest, you saw fatigue on that last play.
During the return, holding number 49 of the return team. 10 yards from the end of the run. First down, Reinhardt.
One of the things coming into this ball game, Drew, is I talked about was the number 14. And I think that's a key number. I think the team that gets to 14 first puts themselves in a position to win. When you look at Reinhardt and the way they play offense and the way they run clock, if they get 14 points up, then they put themselves in a position to run clock. And the same bodes for St. Francis. If they get 14 points up, now Reinhardt has to get out of what they do, which is running the football and try and throw it.
Here's Quanti Green with a burst of speed, and he's got a first down along the far side. Got it past the 30 that time. Well, this is a national championship game. Remember, Reinhardt has never been here before. St. Francis was here last year for us. When you talk about your preparation through the week, how you act in the pregame, a lot of times you can get so revved up for this one that you can run out of gas early on if you're not careful. Another flag will come down. And Stanley Lowe touches it for the first time tonight. Right now, these teams are really going at each other.
And Reinhardt has to be very careful. Number 45, Quant Williams, could have been called for a penalty on that play.
Personal foul. Chop block. Number 61 and 62 of the offense. 10 yards from the spot, 15 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
That's called on two different offensive linemen.
Well, what he's saying is one of the offensive linemen was engaged with a defender, and the other offensive lineman went low on him. If you're engaged as a defensive lineman, you don't have to worry about someone going low, or you're going to get that call. As an offensive lineman, when your partner's engaged, if you want to engage with that defensive lineman as well, it has to be above the waist. It cannot be below the waist.
So that pushes him way back now. First down, Billy Hall got a lot of work to do with this Cougars defense bearing down. James Jamisic. First time we've called 97's name along the front for the Cougars.
And number 64, the right tackle, Trey Coney, has to do a better job of blocking on the edge. Watch number 64. He goes outside too far, allowing Jamisic to get to the inside. McKellen Lanier had an opportunity to also get a block, but you've got to put a hat on the hat. You cannot allow defenders to have free reign to your quarterback, or you're going to be in trouble. So for the offensive lineman, you can't set too far. You got to set down on your hips. You can't lean over, because the defensive lineman, the majority of the time, is going to be a better athlete than you are.
Ball on the ground. Hall's got to pick it up in all sorts of trouble. And right now, this Reinhardt offense going backwards.
And right now, Reinhardt just looks like an unsettled ball club. You see right here with the snap, Hall runs into the back with the football. They just look really unsettled right now, very uncomfortable. Not the team that got here, just a team right now. You talked about it, Drew. You got a team that went through the process of championship week, the banquet last night, something new to all of these kids, whereas St. Francis was here last year, so they knew what to expect.
This offense not built for long yardage situations. They'll try and get some of it back as Trevay Kane takes it up. Eric Dutton makes the stop, and the punting team will now come on for Reinhardt. So this is a two-quarterback offense. We have not seen Dylan Wiggins yet for the Eagles. A little surprised the freshman, even though he did start the semifinal, did get the nod. He got a little more experience in Dylan Wiggins.
Well, I think with Wiggins, you have more of a passing attack as opposed to just running the football. And it's interesting that you start a true freshman in the championship ball game. I would have thought that you would have seen Wiggins in the second series. It'll be interesting to see if he comes back for the next series offensively for Reinhardt. But they need to get a stop defensively, or this ball game can get out of hand very quickly.
Marquez. His punt's going to go out of bounds at the 46-yard line. So good field position again for the Cougars of St. Francis. So far showing why they are the defending national champions.
And for this Reinhardt defense, they've got to step up right now. They've got to make a big play. They not only need to stop, they need a big play.
St. Francis team that played with the lead pretty much all season long. They did have to come back against Marion earlier this year. They were down 17-3 in that game, went on to win 31-24. Aside from that, Nick Ferrer and these Cougars used to playing with the lead. On first down, Ferrer to throw. With time, steps in. A man is out there, and it's caught by Dan Rixey. Out of bounds at the 20, and the Cougars right now picking this Reinhardt defense apart.
And because St. Francis has been able to run the ball so effectively, they're getting man coverage on the outside. And number 6, Taylor Hawkins, got caught looking in the backfield. The safety has to do a better job of getting over the top and not allowing these plays to get down the field.
Dan Rixey did not play much last season. He has emerged for us as Nick Ferrer's favorite target. He's only a sophomore. I asked Nick Ferrer, who's the one guy that's had an impact on you? He said, number 7, my sophomore wideout. Saw the hookup right there. So now Gegner moves to the left side. 3 wideouts in for Ferrer, and he throws this one. It is caught by Duke Blackwell. That'll be a short pickup of 5.
And Ferrer eyeballed this receiver the entire play. That's something he needs to be careful of moving forward. I think the defense may key on that, but a good job catching the football down low by Blackwell and getting down.
Reinhardt, see one of the best teams on third down defensively. Pass efficiency as well. We're not seeing any of these stats pay off here, though, in this first quarter.
And I tell you what, I think this is definitely 4-down territory for St. Francis.
2nd and 6. Ferrer fakes, looking to the end zone again. Gets out of trouble. Now fires over the middle. Touchdown. Duke Blackwell.
And you see the ability of Ferrer on this play. He extended the play by climbing the pocket and allowing his receiver to break open and deliver a strike in the middle of the field. Watch Ferrer. He goes with the ball fake right there. He's got pressure in his face. He climbs the pocket. He allows his receiver to break open and delivers a strike to Blackwell.
So the NAIA Player of the Year does what he does best. Steps up, makes the play, and it's all Cougars, 17-0. And we are still not out of the first quarter. How about Duke Blackwell, the sophomore from New Palestine, Indiana? Another home state guy is in Fort Wayne. St. Francis football, the only show in town. This is what good quarterbacks do. They find a way to make plays.
Well, you see he goes with the play action right there. That freezes the linebackers. Then he sees pressure from the outside and from the inside. He doesn't panic. He climbs the pocket. He delivers a strike, and he gives you the touchdown signal like he was expecting it to happen. That's what National Players of the Year do for you and for your offense. And you see it right now. You see a team that feels like they're going to win this ball game versus a team that looks lost right now. For Reinhardt, there's a lot of time left. They can't get it all back in one play. They need to start by first catching this kickoff because they've had problems fielding kicks early in this ball game, getting a good return, and getting back to that offense that had some success running to the outside.
Ball taken at the 18. Eagles got some room along that right side, and they'll go down at the 32-yard line. And the Eagles will try and get something going offensively. Did have a good drive the first time they touched the football, went down the field, but it was a miss on the field goal try by Nick Marquez. So 35 seconds remain in this first quarter, and the Eagles still looking for points.
And right now, the Reinhardt coaching staff have to continue to talk to their players, keep these guys motivated, make them understand the game is not over. We just had a bad first quarter. We've got to get going, run our offense, and do what we do best.
Nick Ferrer, so far, so good. He is pacing up and down that sideline right now, talking to the coaches upstairs and trying to figure out what else he can do to this Reinhardt defense.
What's interesting, we still have not seen Dylan Wiggins.
Billy Hall, 32-yard line, and the run not going anywhere. That was wrapped up immediately by Malachi Mannion. Malachi, junior defensive end. As you look at Dylan Wiggins, the sophomore quarterback, he looked like he was ready to come on the field at the start of the game. And you can just see it in his eyes. He wants to be playing championship football right now.
Absolutely.
Just itching for an opportunity. Try to run this one left. And slipping down this time is Montrelius Mosley, the most productive running back for Reinhardt. And that brings us to the end of the first quarter. So Reinhardt let some early opportunities go away. St. Francis would later take advantage. NAIA Football Championship through one. The defending champions on top, 17-0. The NAIA National Football Championship is brought to you by the Daytona Beach area. To learn more about the area's endless adventures, visit DaytonaBeach.com. One of the world's most famous beaches inside of the NAIA Football Championship, 17-0. Nick Ferrer, a touchdown pass in the first quarter and ready to get back on the field. Meanwhile, Reinhardt struggling to get moving here, and the defense for St. Francis really starting to feast. Billy Hall, the freshman, getting the start tonight, had a big run able to get it done on the ground, but struggled so far throwing the football.
Well, that play was made by Spencer Cowherd. He got into Hall's face, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to give the quarterback time to pass the football, especially when you know it's a passing down. They had 4th and long. They have not been able to successfully run the ball the last couple of plays, so you knew he was probably going to pass the football. And with a big lead, you can bring the blitz and feel comfortable giving up a possible big play.
Marquez on the field again. Rixey's going to let this one go. Take a Reinhardt bounce. And it winds up being a pretty nice punt down at the 21-yard line.
And you know something, when we talked about Coach Miller last night at the banquet, and you have to wonder if he was tight and his team is a reflection of that last night, because he just didn't seem comfortable being up on stage. And you wonder, this is a big ball game. This is a big opportunity for these guys. Their 5th year in existence. They got here much earlier than anyone would have expected a team when you look at the competitive nature of NAIA football.
Yeah, early on that first series, Tevin McCoy recovered the fumble, had it taken right out of his arms by Justin Green. And then a special teams miscue by Otis Odom. Reinhardt just has not settled into this game. Here's Justin Green again. He is not making it easy. If he's not ankle tackled there, he could run all the way to Orlando. As Marcus Miller able to get him by the shoes that time.
Okay, let's go ahead and put it out there. This guy is a Sunday football player. You see his ability right here to bounce it once again to the outside. You see the high step, and he's trying to get north and south. And if he's able to turn that corner, there's no one else there. Once again, he continues to show you the vision that you need to be a successful back at any level.
Justin Green, just a junior. 2nd and 3 now. Ferrer surveying the field, fires it over the middle, and it's Rocky James again. It's going to be hit hard this time by Quincy Standifer, the junior linebacker, just short of a first down.
And this is a big 3rd down for Reinhardt and their defense. They need to get a stop. They need to get off the field. I think they're deep enough in St. Francis territory where they wouldn't consider going for it on 4th down. They definitely punt, but they need to get a stop right here.
3rd down and 3. Again, 3rd down efficiency of opposing offenses, 23% coming into this game. So far, St. Francis defying that. Duke Blackwell, the spin. And he takes it up to the 44-yard line. They are so efficient with the football.
And you see what Nick Ferrer did. He saw number 23, Trevor Carlton, coming with the blitz. He went right where Carlton came from. The safeties have to come up and cover up the area of the field where Carlton comes from when he brings that blitz, or you're going to continue to have open receivers.
Fake it to Green. Ferrer goes for the home run. It's caught. And down at the 10-yard line, Blackwell again, and a touchdown-saving tackle by Marcus Miller. It's 1st down and a near-goal situation for the Cougars.
And Ferrer wanted to go outside the number 6, Rocky James, and he was covered up. You see him right there go through his progressions, and he saw Blackwell streaking down the middle of the field. No safety over the top. He delivers a strike.
Forrest, you played with some good quarterbacks. Charlie Ward, Danny Cannell. Is this guy pro ready? Can he play at the next level?
I think he can. What I like about him not only is his ability, but his size. When you saw him walk on the stage last night, it really shocked me how big he was. And I was here last year. You were too as well when he played in this ball game, but his size is huge. And once again, Justin Green, too easy. He gets to the outside, untouched to the end zone, too much speed. And you have to wonder right now if this Reinhardt ball club has packed it in.
Nobody was there on the right side. He just ran right to the pylon, a clear lane.
Absolutely. It wasn't like there were any knockout blocks on the edge. It just looked like the Reinhardt ball club didn't want it as bad as the St. Francis ball club did on that play.
The Cougars opening it up here in the first half. 2nd touchdown for Justin Green. So 2 Justin Green touchdowns. A Nick Ferrer touchdown pass. Also a Gavin Gardner field goal. Right now, the Cougars showing why they are the defending champions. Justin Green and Nick Ferrer leading the way, 24-0 in Daytona.
Establishing the family base camp on Daytona Beach is a time-honored ritual. Obsessive? Maybe. Scientific? Definitely. But absolutely authentic. On the original American beach. There's plenty to see on Daytona Beach, but you have the vacation chops to know. It's best to leave some of that eye candy in the wrapper. When others speedo, you speedon't. On the original American beach.
Well, St. Francis in this position a season ago, and they took care of business when it mattered most. Seth Cope put on a show late. Nick Ferrer delivering it in the perfect spot. Nearly 200 yards receiving. Seemed like it was yesterday. Justin Green also doing his thing. And in the end, it was a 38-17 win over Baker University. Oh, look at that move by Seth Cope. Get out of my way.
So nasty.
First national championship for St. Francis. Going for back-to-back here tonight. You win back-to-back, it's like a different status in NAIA football. Cougars are certainly shooting for it. Ball taken by Mosley, Montrelius Mosley, almost to midfield. Let's send it down on the field to Kristen.
Well, the idea of winning back-to-back titles puts you in an elite group, according to Coach Donnelly. Only a handful of teams in the NAIA have done it. Once you climb to the top, you have to be on guard, but not overconfident. There's no cutting corners to be great. Quarterback Nick Ferrer says he knows how important it is to leave a legacy, something to remember, something to build on for the underclassmen. He said you can't play football forever. It's about what you leave behind. Drew?
You know, there's certain programs like Georgetown, Sioux Falls, Mount Union is another. Great NAIA national power. St. Francis wants to be in that conversation forever. A win tonight would certainly do that, as Trevay Kane will take it up to the 45-yard line, and Reinhardt trying to get something moving offensively. Still Billy Hall under center.
And what was interesting coming into this ball game, the Reinhardt players told us, we feel very capable of doing this, but we know they feel like they have a competitive edge because they've beaten us the last couple of times we've played.
Here's Wisenet. Andy Wisenet lowers his shoulder and takes it about 2 yards shy of a first down. And there's another flag on the field right in the middle of that play. Usually holding territory.
And I think they got Quay Stocks, number 3, on a hold.
Holding, 97 defense. 10 yards from the end of the run. First down.
That's James Jamesich, the sophomore defensive end. You rarely see that.
Surprise, surprise. I think they missed the one on Quay Stocks. It could have been offsetting, but that bodes well for Reinhardt. They need something positive right now. Things are just going left for them, so they need this, but they have to capitalize. They need to get 7 on the board.
So new line of scrimmage will be the 33-yard line. Eagles run it again. This is Trevay Kane. Big, powerful runner. And he's got it to the 26-yard line, taken down there by Lee Stewart.
And a good job by the offensive line on that play to get low and push backwards. You'll see blue jerseys moving backwards. A good job. And you see offensive linemen getting to the second level. Number 65 was able to get to the second level and put a hat on the hat. That's what you need for your offensive lineman.
Now Stanley Lode's turn. He takes it to the 20, and they'll move the chains. Reinhardt with their first down in quite a while. So this Reinhardt offense, remember, the best running attack in the NAIA. Average 350 rushing yards per game. If they can just get that going and establish some sort of momentum, make this one interesting. Quanti Green now, and he is down inside the 15.
Well, the only problem with getting that going is you're going to eat up a lot of clock. And that's why I said 14 is a big number, because now it puts in motion, a sense of urgency for Reinhardt to not only put points on the board, but get out of character and start throwing the football more than they would like to.
Coach Miller pacing.
If Reinhardt is able to get a score on the board right now and get another score before the half and going down 24-14, they get the ball coming back out in the second half.
Run this one, Stanley Lowe. He's got the speed to bounce it to the outside. And going to depend on the spot. He tries to stretch forward for a first down. Lee Stewart, the guy that dragged him down. Now this Cougars defense, very stingy. They allow just 17 points per game.
And they're doing a good job with their pursuit angles from the back end of the defense. They're not allowing the Reinhardt running attack to get going.
First down and goal. Run this one right. Got blockers in front. Reggie Mack to the 6. Spencer Coward, another tackle for the Cougars.
And if you're Reinhardt right now, do you consider running play action? We know they run the football effectively. They're inside the red zone, they're inside the 10-yard line. Running is what they do. And I think St. Francis is thinking they're going to run the football.
Power football down to the 2. And I think that's the guy you want to have it in this situation, folks. Trevay Kane, big number 34. He's got only 342 yards rushing on the season coming into tonight. But in this territory, they like to give 34 the football. Let's see if they go with him one more time.
Well, 11 rushing touchdowns, so he knows how to get to the pylon.
9th play of the drive. Trying to stretch over the goal line. It's a touchdown. So finally the Eagles able to get some points. Kane's 12th touchdown of the season.
And you see Kane limping off the field right now. Mosley limped off a little bit earlier. We'll have to watch that to see if both those guys are able to come back into the ball game. But watch the offensive lineman. The low man wins. You see blue jerseys going backwards, and you see Kane keep his feet driving to get to the end zone. A good job by this Reinhardt offensive line to push those defenders back and get the score.
Marquez sets up for the extra point. Kick is up and good. We're going to blow this one dead. Nothing coming easy so far.
Offside. Defense, number 98. That penalty's declined. The try is good. Media timeout.
So we'll take a break. 24-7. Reinhardt finally on the scoreboard.
You will be inspired.
You will be prepared.
Education, if it's good, it should change us.
Everything that I do can have an impact on somebody else.
You can dream any dream and you can chase any dream and you can have a chance to succeed at that dream.
We're here just a speck of time.
Given the opportunities to be selfless.
That's what God does with us.
Not forgetting how you got here and who helped you along the way.
What are you doing for others?
Those to whom much has been given, much is expected.
The home of the NAIA Football Championship, Daytona Beach. It's been a perfect week for this annual event. 24-7 your score, St. Francis. The Cougars over the Eagles, and finally, even when something positive happens for Reinhardt, something negative has to happen. Trevay Kane does get the touchdown, but he is paying for it right now, getting that right ankle taped.
Well, we'll watch Kane, we'll watch Mosley. Both of those guys limped off the field after having big plays. Let's see if they're able to get back on the field and be as effective prior to the injuries.
Marquez to kick it off again. Steep hill to climb for Reinhardt. Would not count out the Eagles just yet, though. Here's Justin Green. Just tremendous speed. Running right through the special teams unit. A couple of words for that unit for Reinhardt as well, up to the 37. So Justin Green leads the NAIA in total yards. And look at that per game, nearly 200 on the ground. Also got good hands as well. 186 total points. He has been a one-man wrecking crew, and in this game, he has simply been devastating.
Well, you look at this ball game, 8 carries, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. 108 yards, 2 touchdowns on 8 carries already. Last year's championship game, 24 carries, 140 yards, and 1 touchdown. I think he'll eclipse that very early in this ball game.
Penalty's going to send St. Francis back, though, all the way to the 5-yard line. So that is not going to make Coach D happy.
And I'll tell you what, if you had to have one word to describe his running and running style, I would say arrogant. Because he runs over you, through you, and away from you.
It's almost like in the schoolyard, that one guy you just can't tackle.
Like, Coach, it's not fair. I can't catch him. I can't bring him down.
Here's Justin Green again. Oh, just makes a silly move at the 5 and takes it up. Should be a first down at the 16.
And when you look at him, it's just deceptive speed. One thing that I think he does very well, he runs, looks like a 4.2, 4.3, 40, but he runs it north and south, east and west. He's very shifty, and he's very hard to bring down. Chase Hawkins tried to get a big hit on him, but you just can't get that type of hit that you want.
Yeah, poor Chase Hawkins that time was in the perfect spot. That's how you teach it. You just got a guy who is special toting the football tonight.
He's playing Debo football on everyone else on the football field right now.
4 wideouts now, first down. Give it to Green again. And he'll be taken down this time by Javier Dyer. Dyer, the senior defensive end, has made plays his entire career suiting up for Reinhardt. Had a chance to visit with him on the telephone last week, wearing number 9 for the Eagles. There's Javier. Says, you know what, we're going to relish the underdog role here tonight. So far, they've not been able to really do so. But there's his numbers. Only a gain of 1, second down now. Here's Ferrer. Got to get pressure on him somehow, and they do. It's all coming off the edge. Javier Dyer broke free, and Ferrer's got to throw it out of bounds.
And that's what you want to do if you're Reinhardt. Even though Ferrer got rid of the football, you want to put him down. The one thing I think Ferrer saw on that play is what a quarterback does not want to see, and that's the front of his offensive linemen's jerseys, because they've gotten beat around the edge. And Javier Dyer, he must have heard you on that play, because he got pressure on Ferrer and made him get rid of the football prematurely.
Tevin McCoy, also number 10, got a good hit in on Ferrer. So now it's third down. St. Francis 2 of 5 on third down tonight. Send Rocky James in motion. Pressure on the edge again. Ferrer in trouble, and he's going to be taken down at the 7. That's the Reinhardt defense we're used to seeing. J.D. Graydon, got to be careful, doesn't pick up a penalty, but able to make the play.
And you see pressure from the outside. Graydon, the offensive tackle, opened up his shoulders prematurely. You've got to get 3 kick steps back before you turn and run the defender past the quarterback. But he has a back there. Rocky James, you've got to get a shoulder, a chip on that defensive end. You cannot allow 1 to beat 2.
Kareem Warren credited with the sack that time, although Graydon got to him first. Punting situation now, low kick. And let's see if Reinhardt, another drop and force. They have got to find another guy to take back kicks tonight. Otis Odom.
Just let it go. Let the ball go. Just let St. Francis down it. That is 3 times, actually 4, because he muffed 1 on the kickoff as well.
I mean, you'd like to give the young man a chance. Obviously, this is a big moment in his football career, but 3 times putting it on the carpet.
Well, you got to think it's something psychologically after that first fumble, and he's thinking about it. And this is when Coach Miller and the staff have to go over and talk to him and let him know, hey, you've got to squeeze the football. Right now, he doesn't have a, right there, you've got to squeeze it. You can't let it get to your body. He did a good job of covering it up, but you don't want to continue to be back there and be nervous.
And that's what NAIA football all about right now. His teammates consoling him, trying to encourage him.
Play is over. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 26, St. Francis. That's number 26, first on unsportsmanlike conduct. 15 yards for the play. First down, Reinhardt.
Well, that's on Jalen Moss, who I think let Odom have it after that last drop. We'll assess things and come back. Reinhardt football in just a moment. The NAIA National Championship is brought to you by Brown & Brown Insurance. National strength, local presence. Welcome back to Daytona Beach Municipal Stadium. And right now, Coach James Miller and Reinhardt trying to cut into this lead once more. Trailing 24-7. They have got it in great field position at the 33-yard line. Billy Hall at the controls. In motion is Mosley. They're going to run it straight ahead. This is McCallum Lanier. And he is down at the 30. That's going to be a pickup of about 3.5.
And the perfect drive for Reinhardt right now is to use all the time on the clock and get a touchdown. You go into the half at that point down 10, and you come back out getting the ball in the second half. So that would be the perfect scenario for this Reinhardt ball club.
There's big Eric Hemmelgarn, the senior defensive lineman, 6'5", 330 pounds, right in the middle of that St. Francis D-line. And when you got the big man roaming the middle for us, that's why you try and attack the edges, because the middle of that Cougars defense in great hands. Hemmelgarn, this guy is a technician, very powerful young man. We had a chance to meet him last night.
Well, he scared me because he walked up on us last night at the banquet, and he stopped us and said, hey, you know, you guys said some good things about me last year. I want to make sure you say some good things about me tomorrow night. And I said, hey, big fella, you make a play, we'll call your name out.
Third down, big play for Reinhardt, and Hemmelgarn's going to wrap him up. Only gained a couple before big 98. We talked about him making a play. He just made one.
And watch number 98 in the middle of this defense. You see, he takes on 2 blockers. He keeps his hands up. He keeps his eyes up. He uses his hands. He wraps up the back and uses his weight to not allow him to fall forward.
So 4th down, and call it about 2.5. Eagles will go for it. Trevay Kane is the running back. Feed him, and he gets tripped up. Does not get out of the backfield, and the Cougars defense will get off the field. A turnover on downs for Reinhardt.
And you see their gift is also their curse. It looks like he tripped over the quarterback's foot, Billy Hall, and was not able to get his footing back and get up the field.
It's another miscue by the Eagles. Frustrating night so far for the team playing for their first NAIA football championship.
And as well as they run the football, I thought on that drive they had the opportunity to run some play action, because that's all they've been doing is running the football. And when you've got Hall in, I think it takes away from that ability, because Wiggins is a better passer.
Ball back to the Cougars now. Justin Green, a helmet comes off. Yeah, there's been some hard hitting on the field. That was big 75 Alex Woods, the left tackle, whose helmet comes off, and now he'll have to exit the game.
And you see Woods talking as he walks off the field. And we saw it last night. There was a lot of chirping, a lot of whooping, a lot of hollering, a lot of chants from both ball clubs. And you expected a chippy ball game. You know, this is a championship ball game. Both teams are undefeated. Nobody wants to lose a football game this season.
Ferrer, play fake. Tries to deliver. That was nearly intercepted. The Eagles had that well played. Aaron Brown was in the vicinity. If he had just another half step, that would have been a pick 6.
And that's a good job by the offensive line. Ferrer had no one in his face. He had all the time he needed, but he threw the ball into double coverage. You've got a safety coming up. You've got coverage underneath. You've got to be very careful. That has to be a precision pass.
Another 3rd down and long situation coming up for St. Francis. Reinhardt's defense able to settle in on the last few drives. Really making Ferrer and company work here. Pressure comes again on the edge, and again, they get it off. Duke Blackwell makes the catch. He's got it at the 42, but again, I think the turf is causing some issues right now for these St. Francis skill players.
And you see they rush 4. They try and bring a delayed blitz, but Ferrer stands tall in the pocket. He finds Blackwell on a deep crossing that looked like his foot got caught in the turf. Let's see right here if we can see right there. His ankle kind of bent up under him. You see him grab his leg immediately. Let's hope that it's not very serious and that he'll be able to get up, walk off, and come back into this ball game. But you see him grab his ankle right there. And I tell you what, these are some tough young men. They continue to pump the crowd up and stay in it, and you have to love that if you're the St. Francis fan club.
How often do you see that? Guy gets injured, uses it to pump up his own fans.
And you see
Boswell going to join him over there. Sean Boswell, who went out in the first quarter. So if they lose Blackwell here for us, that receiver core is going to be cut pretty thin for St. Francis. First down, 42-yard line. Ferrer again pitches to Justin Green. Green stutter steps and takes it out as he gets past the 40. So 27 touchdowns coming into this game, 2 already in this first half. He's got 29 now on the season. And over on that sideline, Duke Blackwell will be tended to by the medical staff.
And you hate to see that when kids get to the championship ball game, go out with an injury. We just have to hope Blackwell is able to return.
Still going with 4 wideouts. Zach Gegner lines up in the slot. Will Chrisman, bottom of your screen. Ferrer looks his way. Plenty of time and throws this one near midfield. Dan Rixey going backwards. And let's see where they mark the football as 24 Aaron Brown was all over.
And St. Francis went 4 wides on that play, but Reinhardt had 7 in coverage. And although they have 7 in coverage, Nick Ferrer is still able to find receivers down the field. You see they've got 4 bringing pressure. Ferrer stands in the pocket, he backs up, he takes a hit at the end of the play, but he's still able to deliver a strike down the field. Reinhardt is doing a good job of keeping the receivers in front of them, but I think you need to get up and press these guys, block them off the line of scrimmage, don't let them get a free release.
Open again is Gegner, and Ferrer hit him in stride. Jalen Holloman knocked him out of bounds, but I'll tell you what, Nick Ferrer has just got that 6th sense. He knows when his guys are open with those short routes.
Well, the problem is these guys are getting free releases. They're not getting bumped off the line of scrimmage. So Nick Ferrer is just releasing the football. It's almost like his timing routes out here. You've got to knock that timing off. You've got to get them out that rhythm.
Nick Ferrer, his coaches say, watches more film than they do. In fact, he's calling Coach D late at night.
He had to give him a curfew.
Coach D said, no more. 9 o'clock is my bedtime. As that one tripped up by Matthew Prather, the sophomore defensive end. Yeah, coaching is a round-the-clock job, 7 days a week, and it's even harder when your quarterback, Nick Ferrer, is calling you at all hours of the night saying, Coach, maybe we should audible if this happens.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
It's that kind of championship drive that has propelled St. Francis here to this game for the 2nd year in a row. And Forrest, this coaching staff does a great job of keeping this team focused, eliminating the distractions. They talk about filling up buckets. And if you talk to Coach Donnelly for about an hour, you can come away with so many sayings. But I think that the one that had the most impact on me is when he told Nick Ferrer, he said, potential is a bad word. Because when you talk about potential, you're just talking about what you haven't done yet. You haven't accomplished anything. St. Francis players, it's all about production for them. 186 yards passing for Ferrer in the first half.
Well, you saw what Coach Donnelly means to this ball club, where Nick Ferrer gave his acceptance speech last night with the National Player of the Year award. He talked about Coach Donnelly being more than a coach. He almost choked up a little bit talking about what Coach Donnelly means to him and his family.
2nd down, Ferrer under pressure again, and he's got to unload it and manages to get it off to Dan Rixey. He's going to be called out of bounds, though, as the ball was bobbled there. And it will be 3rd down now and long.
But you see the arm strength of Nick Ferrer running backwards and throwing the ball down the field to the sideline. And I don't know if he bobbled that football. That's an interesting call right there. It looked like he had possession of the football. It looked like he was moving his hand, but the ball didn't move.
We do have instant replay tonight here at Municipal Stadium. Have not used it just yet. St. Francis 4 of 8 on 3rd down. They'll try again. Set up the screen to Green. Look out. Justin Green down the sideline and dragged out as he got it across the 20. Looking for a horse collar. I don't think he's going to get it.
And I tell you what, that's the perfect play call against the defense. They brought an all-out blitz, and it opened up that screen game very quickly, very easily. You have to wonder now with the flag on the field, because they brought the blitz, did anyone hold on that play?
It looks like the right tackle possibly. See if they got Nick Shoemaker that time.
And Reinhardt is giving it away. They're letting St. Francis know when they're bringing the blitz, They're walking their linebackers up towards the line of scrimmage. So what the St. Francis offensive linemen have to do in their pre-snap reads is make sure they get their correct calls, and Nick Ferrer has to make sure he knows where to go with the football. You usually go where the blitz is coming from, because that's where the back end of the defense has to come up and recover.
There are fouls by both teams. Holding, number 58, defense. Personal foul, horse collar tackle. 28, defense. Those penalties offset. Replay it down.
And I think he meant 58 offense. Watch the right tackle, number 58. See him right here to the left of your screen. I don't know about that being a holding call. That's an interesting call by the officials.
And then the horse collar right here. It looks like it was all jersey that time. Justin Green may want to think about wearing a tighter jersey. What do you think?
Well, you got to catch him first to pull the jersey. I think no one has caught him all season, so he hadn't thought about it. But I don't know if that was a horse collar as well, because he grabbed the jersey. He didn't grab inside the collar.
Third down and long. Ferrer with a pump fake. Quick slant, and it's incomplete. Well, it's looking for Rixey once again, and now fourth down. Is this four-down territory for St. Francis? Why not? They've got it at about the 40-yard line, so you think maybe they could take a shot here, but the punting team will come on the field.
Well, you've got to play it safe right now. You've got a 17-point lead. You don't want to give up a short field. Although Reinhardt runs the football, that's what they do. You give them a short field, you give them an opportunity to be one big play away from putting more points on the board.
Back to the Cougars.
Short kick, trying to pin him here. And they're going to mark it out at the 15. So 1:22 left to play until halftime. Reinhardt trailing 24-7.
And to go back to that horse collar plate, this year a horse collar is considered the nameplate or above. If you grab the nameplate or above on a jersey and bring a player down from the back, that's considered a horse collar play. And for our fans out watching this game, that is for the safety of the player. If you remember a couple of years ago, Terrell Owens in the playoffs had a horse collar play that broke his leg that ultimately held him out, and I think was a key factor in that team not being as competitive as they could have been in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl.
First down from the 14. Billy Hall fakes the handoff, now tries to get out of trouble. Not much work in here as he's taken down inside the 10. Eric Dutton, the junior defensive lineman, eating that one up from the start. So it looked like Reinhardt wanted to set up play action there, but everybody well covered downfield. And if you are the Eagles right now, Forrest, are you best suited to just fall on this football and run into halftime and not try anything tricky here?
I think you're trying to get vertical one play, but I think you have to have max protection. You want to keep your quarterback upright because you're so close to your own end zone, and if the quarterback doesn't see it, you tell him to just get rid of it, get it out of bounds, and you go ahead and take a knee, get in the halftime, and you regroup, and you come back out and try and play assignment football in the second half. But you got to at least try one time to get vertical.
Well, no matter what the outcome here tonight, Coach James Miller and this Reinhardt team will remember a memorable week in Daytona Beach, soaking in the moment. Remember, this is just a fifth-year football program in NAIA. This is them earlier this week, having a good time on Daytona Beach. A little bit of dancing there. Forrest, is that you dancing right now?
Absolutely not. But I tell you what, you notice nobody's in the water. We're in Daytona Beach, but nobody was in the water. And there's the dance machine right there.
I thought that was maybe you joining the team. That was JT Grayton, the freshman defensive end. Forrest, you got moves like that.
I can get down like that. I don't know if I'll be able to get right back up, but I can get down there.
Oh, it has been a joy being around these two ball clubs.
You got to know your limitations.
Game clock. 48 seconds. Thank you.
So I'll put 6 seconds on the clock here.
45.8 seconds on the game clock. Thank you.
Now we're going to shave some time. Coach Miller trying to keep his team emotionally in this game. They have taken some big blows courtesy of Justin Green and Nick Ferrer here in this first half.
And you know St. Francis is going to pin their ears back and come after the quarterback on this play.
Here we go. Trying to dump this one off, and I'm telling you, they better be careful because this Cougars defense is coming right now.
And watch Jordan May on this play, the left defensive end, number 93. You've got to cut roll. You can't just go down and cut. You've got to cut, then you've got to roll into the defender's legs, because if you don't, you allow a free release to your quarterback.
Jordan May's 4th year in school at St. Francis. One of the guys that Coach D is so proud of. 3rd down and long. Tons of time to throw for Billy Hall. Lets one go, and it is incomplete. And I'm telling you, they're lucky that was not intercepted. And if it would have been, that would not be a good way to end the first half. So the punting team will come on for Reinhardt and for Eric Dutton. And this Cougar defense, a job well done here in the first 30.
And Reinhardt needs to be very, very careful because St. Francis will come after this punt. I expect him to bring everybody after this punt.
Dan Rixey back to return it. High kick. Rixey lets it bounce. And it will be St. Francis football force. This is what I was talking about. As Reinhardt wanted it, they thought that maybe a player touched it on the St. Francis side, but right now it's going to be Cougars football. If you were Reinhardt, you would just sat on the football there, run out the clock. Instead, you try and pass it, and now you give it back to the Cougars, and they've got a chance for more points here before intermission.
Well, you play prevent defense at this point, but when you're down 17, you've got to continue to try and press. If you get 10 to 20 yards, now you put yourself in a position to go vertical. I think they went vertical too late in that drive. I thought they should have tried to go vertical early in the drive when St. Francis was expecting them to run the football like they did the first 2 plays.
St. Francis does have the 3 timeouts as well. Remember, at the beginning of the second half, Reinhardt will have the football. 4 wideouts now for Ferrer. So dangerous every time he drops back, but this time the D-line for Reinhardt wins the battle. And it's Javier Dyer applying pressure again.
And the one thing that the offensive tackles continue to do for St. Francis is open up that outside shoulder too prematurely. Now, once again, Dyer beats the offensive tackle as well as Justin Green on the outside. That cannot happen when you leave a back end to block. You've got 2 versus 1. Justin Green has to do a better job, and that's probably the only bad thing that he's done tonight is protect the quarterback.
Well, Forrest, you see on the back of the helmets for every single player on the Eagles defense, you see the initials QM, and that is for Quentin Moses, the late defensive line coach who tragically lost his life in the offseason in a house fire. Broke the hearts of the entire team. Reinhardt as a team came together, paid respects to their coach, and they have played Inspire football in 2017. Coach Miller says it is mainly because they are playing in their coach's honor, Quentin Moses. This defense has had just a spectacular season, and those defensive ends were so close to their late coach. Ferrer to fire once more, middle of the field. Justin Green again. Gets a block and inside the 10. 10 seconds left to play in the half, and it's 1st and goal.
And how do you let Justin Green get in the middle of the defense? He's lined up in the slot. You've got to pay attention. You've got to be aware. You see him get to the outside, number 48, Dawson Mitchell, allows him to release. There's no one in the middle of the field to cover him. And once Green gets the reception, you see him pointing out blocks and continuing to get up the field. He's such a dangerous player, whether it be running out of the backfield or catching the ball out of the backfield. They just move him around. You want to get him the ball in space.
Fake it to Green. Look to the end zone. Ferrer, clock winding down. Gets it to the open man. And at the 5, going down is Will Chrisman. And let's see, did he get out of bounds? The clock runs out, and that play may have been a little bit longer than what St. Francis wanted, because I think that's going to do it for the half. The Eagles are on the field. They're ready to go into intermission.
Absolutely.
The entire team out on the field right now.
And for St. Francis, you have to look back at that play, and you have to wonder, going into halftime, will that play hurt you?
The previous play is under review for the time on the clock.
Well, what happened on that play, Nick Ferrer is trying to find an open receiver, and he has to be conscious of the clock, knowing they only had 10 seconds left. If you don't see anything initially, get rid of the football, throw it out of bounds. I think what happened is once he got possession of the football, he's trying to get positive yards. It looks like it may be 5 or 6/10 of a second left on the clock.
Whatever the case, it'd be time for one more play. St. Francis could send out the field goal team or even take a shot at the end zone.
Well, he didn't get out of bounds. The question now becomes, did the St. Francis coaching staff call a timeout? Because if no one signaled a timeout and they assumed he got out of bounds, I think the half is over. So they have to look at a couple of different things. The clock, did he get out of bounds? And did anyone from St. Francis call timeout?
That's Hazar, head referee tonight. Our replay official is Buddy Ward, who is up in the booth. Here's one more look.
Well, Reinhardt did a good job of covering up all the receivers. And you see Ferrer fading out. He finds a receiver late in the pattern. He gets the football to Will Christian. Now Christian's fighting for yards. He's still up. The clock is still running. He's still fighting. His knee is still up. His hand is up. The clock is still live. The ball is still live. The ball is down right there. He didn't get out of bounds. Now the question is, did a St. Francis coach call timeout? Because although he did not get out of bounds and there's still time left on the clock, they've got to call timeout to stop the clock.
The ruling on the field stands. The runner was down and the clock had expired. Halftime.
Oh, a break for Reinhardt.
Well, I think the key is nobody from St. Francis signaled timeout. They thought that he got out of bounds, and if you saw him, that play, his elbow was inches away from the sideline. So a big break for Reinhardt going into the half.
Certainly not the first half that James Miller expected. Leading Reinhardt football here to the NAIA Football Championship for the very first time. Can the Eagles make this game interesting in the second half? That is the big question. They have gotten a big dose of St. Francis championship football. The Cougars have certainly put on a show. Justin Green with 2 big touchdowns. Ferrer with another one passing. And now let's send it down on the field to Kristen.
Well, Coach Donnelly, your team is playing like the defending national champions, heading into halftime with a solid lead. What will you be telling your athletes about not getting complacent in the second half?
Well, right now we got to make some adjustments. We got our 2 starting inside receivers out. So we're going to make some personnel shifts and get reloaded and keep playing hard.
Well, we've seen that tough defense spark from Reinhardt. How do you continue to keep them off balance?
Reinhardt defense, we just got to keep making plays. We got to mix the run and the pass. And again, we got some personnel adjustments to make here at the half.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. Back to you guys.
All right, the godfather of NAIA football, Coach Donnelly, and St. Francis leading 24-7 at the half. Justin Green leading the way at intermission here at the NAIA Football Championship.
Establishing the family base camp on Daytona Beach is a time-honored ritual. Obsessive? Maybe. Scientific? Definitely. But absolutely authentic. On the original American beach. There's plenty to see on Daytona Beach, but you have the vacation chops to know. It's best to leave some of that eye candy in the wrapper. When others speedo, you speedon't. On the original American beach.
You will be inspired.
You will be prepared.
Education, if it's good, it should change us.
Everything that I do can have an impact on somebody else.
You can dream any dream and you can chase any dream and you can have a chance to succeed at that dream.
We're here just a speck of time.
Given the opportunities to be selfless.
That's what God does with us.
Not forgetting how you got here and who helped you along the way.
What are you doing for others?
Those to whom much has been given, much is expected.
Welcome back to Daytona. St. Francis is leading Reinhardt 24-7. Joining me is Reinhardt president, Kinda Mallard. Now, this football program, it's in its infancy, only 5 years, but you've been catapulted into the national spotlight. What has it been like?
It's absolutely exciting. These guys have worked so hard. The vision for this program came before I was president. I got to come in and take this program and just really cheer them on. We're really proud of them. They are winners both on the field and off the field with an average 3.0 team GPA. So they are great guys. They're fighting hard. We knew this would be fierce competition, but we're really proud of them. They're doing a great job.
Well, President Mallard, you told me a lot of exciting things are happening at the university. Share with us some of those things.
Okay, we are on the rise. We're a university of about 1,500 students. We're starting nursing in January. We're in the middle of a $39 million building project, building a new theater, new residence halls, and expanding our dining facility. There's just a lot going on in beautiful Waleska, Georgia.
Well, you talk about the new buildings going up, this football program. The community has to be very proud of this university, not only the players, but what you're doing. How has the community reacted to all of this?
Well, we have great football in North Georgia, and Cherokee County has really surrounded this team and this program and helped support us. Our stadium is full at every game. As a matter of fact, we're looking at needing to build a bigger stadium for these guys, and so the community has really helped us out. Cherokee County is growing, and they've been great to us.
So, President Mallard, I have to ask, this team was shaken when they lost Coach Moses, but they've really rallied behind him. What has it been like watching them grow and really take his message to heart, even with his passing?
Coach Moses was really interested in building the whole person. I mean, he worked with these guys in football, but he worked with them in their classes. He worked with them in character building. He was a great man of faith, and he shared that faith with these students. So it was devastating. We were heartbroken, and many of these guys were with Coach Moses from the beginning. And so to dedicate this season to him has really meant a lot for these guys. What a great role model he was.
Well, thank you so much, President Mallard. We're going to step aside, but when we come back, we will have President Sister Elise of St. Francis joining me. Welcome back to Daytona. St. Francis leading Reinhardt 24-7. Joining me is the St. Francis president, Sister Mary Elise. Now, last year when I got to interview you, you were nervous as all you could be, hoping St. Francis would win their first title. Now they're back to try to win one for a second year in a row. What has that been like?
It's been exciting. You know, they've worked really hard to get back here. I don't think we realize how much it takes for coaches, players. They started immediately and all summer and all year to be back here, and they've worked hard at it. So I'm very proud of them, very happy to see them here. We're happy to be back to Daytona. This has been a fun week, and we've been very well received and love the hospitality. So we're excited about what might happen tonight.
Well, during our conference call with the players and coaches, all they talked about was how much the community rallied around them after that big win. What has that support been like in Fort Wayne?
It's been, you know, from the beginning of our program, which we're now 20 years old, we've had great support from the community. I was surprised at how many people would come out. And we have great crowds in playoff games. We filled the house because we had great weather, for one thing, in Fort Wayne, Indiana, so we had some great weather. But we have, I understand, 3 TV channels here with us tonight. Our mayor is here, Tom Henry is here, so we're happy to have him and his brothers and others from the community. So we're very well supported in the community, and we appreciate it a lot.
Well, the cheering section is definitely roaring, hoping to see them come back to back-to-back titles. But there's a lot going on campus. What are some of the projects you guys are working on?
Okay, well, we're in the middle of a campaign we're calling Faith and Reason. We're building a new chapel on campus, and we're adding an addition to Achatz Hall of Science. So they're in the center of our campus on the east side, so it's really going to transform what we call the heart of our campus. So we're raising money for that. Those are big projects, and there's many more in the offing after that. So there's we always have something next that we want to do, but those are big projects that we're very proud of.
Well, Sister Elise, you mentioned coming back to Daytona, how wonderful it is. I know the weather's a little cold for Florida right now, but the week, what has the week been like for some of these players? I know you've experienced it for the second year, but is it a different feeling coming back as defending champions?
I think it is. I didn't come as soon as I did this year. I came down with the team this year because I wanted to see what they were all involved with. So we spent as much time with them, but they're practicing. We had some meals together and breakfast every day. And I think they've done a great job of getting them out in the community, you know, visiting schools, seeing the Speedway. So, you know, they've been very well entertained. I think they're wanting to do business tonight, and I think we're getting ready to play the game. But it's been great. We've enjoyed it. We've had a chance to travel a little bit and see some different things in the state. So I have 2 other sisters with me, Sister Carol and Sister Suzanne. So we've been traveling and enjoying ourselves. So it's been great.
Fantastic. Even though it's a little chilly here, I bet it's a whole lot warmer than back home.
Oh, yes. When we left, it was 20-some degrees. It's warmed up a little. It might be 40 when we get home. But this is a lot better than what we left in Indiana. But we're happy to be here anyway. We're walking the beach anyway. It doesn't matter.
Well, Sister Elise, if they are able to pull off the back-to-back titles, what will you be doing?
Oh, my gosh. Well, we're going to be really celebrating. We celebrated last year, but I think it will be just as big a celebration this year. I mean, I mean, with all the work that went into this, we'll continue to celebrate. I'm sure we'll be received at home with a celebration again, and we'll just look forward to that. And maybe another one of these.
Sister Lisa's all about that bling. She wants another one of those pendants, guys. Well, thank you so much. When we get back, Drew and Forrest will have highlights.
Here in Daytona, 24-7, St. Francis leads Reinhardt. The Cougars going for back-to-back national championships. And in the first quarter, Reinhardt did not get off to a good start. Missed opportunities as Otis Odom puts this one on the ground. So St. Francis able to recover it. That was courtesy of Ryan Johnson, and then Justin Green has just been silly.
Well, he bounced it to the outside, and once he gets to the edge of the open field, you're not going to catch him. You thought the Reinhardt defender had an angle and would be able to catch him, but they just could not do it. And here, Nick Ferrer shows you his ability to get the ball down the field. Dan Rixey, number 7, makes a great catch, makes a move, gets out of bounds, and then Ferrer climbs the pocket, breaks contain, gets the ball into Duke Blackwell on a strike for a touchdown.
And then it was 17 again, Justin Green. Just unobstructed that time, clear path to the corner. Reinhardt trying to get on the board every single yard. Hard to come by. Eventually, Trevay Kane did get a 2-yard rush in for a touchdown. So the numbers at the half, what numbers stick out most to you, Forrest?
-1 passing yards. I tell you what, we came into this ball game, you looked at the fact that Wiggins was a better passer, but he was hurt. Billy Hall has stepped in, played okay as far as running the offense, but has not passed the ball effectively. I thought they had opportunities to run some play-action passing. They did not take advantage of it, and you see the result right now, 24-7 at the half.
Reinhardt does get a break, though, at the end of the first half, able to keep St. Francis off the scoreboard as a replay showed that time did expire when the Cougars had it at the 5-yard line, and Reinhardt will have the football to start the second half on championship night here in Daytona Beach. (24-7), St. Francis leads Reinhardt. What does Coach Miller have in store for the second half? Let's send it down to Kristen.
Well, Coach Miller, you finally broke through the pylon in the second quarter. How do you build on that scoring drive?
We got to continue to just do things better. We're making silly mistakes, not seeing a signal, not finishing a block. We got to protect the quarterback better. Hopefully we can do some of those things right here out the half and make something happen.
Well, Coach, St. Francis was able to put 24 on the scoreboard. How do you slow them down?
We got to stop the running back. We got to try to make it one-dimensional. I think we've gotten some pressure on the quarterback. So if we can slow down the running back, which is a tough job, I think we can maybe give ourselves a chance. We just got to go out there and play hard.
Coach, thank you so much. Back to you, Drew.
All right, Kristen, Coach Miller, he is an inspiring head coach. Instills so much confidence in these players, and it was interesting. He had a very eventful week down here in Daytona, visiting some of the local schools in the area. And anytime you hear Coach Miller speak, it is worth just stopping and listening. Here was a piece of that.
Little things. The little things matter in life. The little things will make big things happen. Okay? But the best thing I can tell you right now, we're 12-0. We're getting ready to play in the biggest game in all these guys' lives, national championship. Okay? But the best thing about that group of kids right there is our team GPA was a 3.15. Okay?
We asked Coach Miller, what do you like most about being a head coach? He said, just the opportunity to hand my guys a degree from Reinhardt when it's all said and done and make them better people, not just on the field, but off the field. That is what I enjoy the most.
Well, what I like, he's not only interested in athletics, he's interested in academics and making these young men better men from the time that they got there to the time that they leave.
It's all about making you better. That's the ultimate goal for Coach Miller and Reinhardt football. See if they've got any fight left in them. That was a very emotional first half of play for the Eagles. So trailing by 17, underway, and another drop to start. Special teams tonight has been an adventure, to say the least, for Reinhardt. Montrelius Mosley has been quiet up to this point, came into the game with nearly 650 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns. He's not really been able to get into it offensively. A big reason for that in the play of the Cougars defense.
I'll tell you what, St. Francis jumped on top of Reinhardt so quickly, I think it took them out of their game plan, and they had to do some things differently than I think they wanted to in that first half to try and keep up with the St. Francis offense.
Run this one right. This is Quay Stocks. Love to get number 3 going. And he takes it close to a first down. That'll be a pickup of 9. Talked about Coach Miller and showed him doing speaking. He's also a former player at Virginia Tech. A lot of time in the trenches he has spent. That's where the toughness of this Reinhardt ball club comes from. And there's Billy Hall lunging forward, getting a first down. In fact, Coach Miller played for Virginia Tech 2000 to 2003. That's a little bit after the Forrest Connolly era at Florida State.
And I tell you what, that's not the same guy we saw last night. He looks like a mild-mannered gentleman right there on that play. We saw an angry coach, fired up, ready to play last night.
So 1st and 10, and give it to Trevay Kane. And Forrest, you say that as the interior part of the defense for the Cougars making a good play there. And it was funny because Coach Miller, he was given a gift by the St. Francis coaching staff. Coach Donnelly gave him a bobblehead. He literally took the bobblehead, took his thumb, and literally removed the head.
Broke the head off. I've never seen it before in my life. Well, you saw his face, his facial expression, when Coach Donnelly opened up the gift and said, hey, this is the special part of it. You need to keep this.
Here come the Cougars. Billy Hall avoids the sack and now tries to get it forward. That's going to be a loss on the play of about 3 and a 3rd down and long coming up.
And watch number 97, James Jamasic. On the outside, you see him, he beats the offensive lineman with the swim move, but you've got to wrap up Hall. He's a long player. You see his strength, able to break out of the tackle, but Eric Himmelgarn is right there, Johnny on the spot, to get him down to get the sack. But it all started with James Jamasic on the outside.
Only 2 of 7 3rd down lies for Reinhardt. And And now they got 3rd down and 12 to deal with. They have not been able to pass the football successfully tonight. This is what one-dimensional means. Cougars are coming. Billy Hall trying to get out of trouble. And he is going to be taken down just shy of the 40. And that was number 9, Pearson Harnish. First time we've actually called his name. He is a very talented linebacker.
Well, I think for Reinhardt, they've had predictive passing situations, and you see the pass rush by St. Francis. They flush Hall out of the pocket. He tries to spin away from Harnish, but he's not able to. And Harnish is that player that the Reinhardt coaching staff identified as a guy that they needed to get a hat on every play because he's always make big plays against them. Coach Miller talked about him making 16 tackles against them the last time they played one another.
Now it's Marquez, high kick and deep. And fair caught at the 21-yard line by Dan Rixey, who has had a nice game tonight. 24-7 Cougar ball when we return.
You will be inspired.
You will be prepared.
Education, if it's good, it should change us.
Everything that I do can have an impact on somebody else.
You can dream any dream and you can chase any dream and you can have a chance to succeed at that dream.
We're here just a speck of time.
Given the opportunities to be selfless.
That's what God does with us.
Not forgetting how you got here and who helped you along the way.
What are you doing for others?
Those to whom much has been given, much is expected.
Establishing the family base camp on Daytona Beach is a time-honored ritual. Obsessive? Maybe. Scientific? Definitely. But absolutely authentic. On the original American beach. There's plenty to see on Daytona Beach, but you have the vacation chops to know. It's best to leave some of that eye candy in the wrapper. When others speedo, you speedon't. On the original American beach.
The NAIA National Championship is brought to you by the Daytona Beach area. To learn more about the area's endless adventures, go to DaytonaBeach.com today. Numbers for Nick Ferrer, 14 of 22, over 200 yards and a touchdown. Cougars take over again on offense from the 21-yard line. Justin Green's first carry of this second half, getting a good push by Jalen Gamble, and he's going to pick up a couple yards. Well, Kristen Bedard down on the field with a very special guest. Kristen?
Well, guys, joining me from the NAIA is the Associate Director of Athletic Communication and Media, Alan Grosbach. Now, Alan, you are back in Daytona for the 4th year. What has this week been like?
I mean, it's tremendous. It's been tremendous every year that we've been at Daytona Beach. The city itself, the CVB, they really embraced our teams, our fans, our coaches, everyone who's involved in this game, and they just put forward a first-class effort for our teams.
Well, these two teams playing on the field behind us, St. Francis and Reinhardt, really embody that core value of the NAIA of champions of character. What can you say about these two programs?
You know, they're two of the best we have in the NAIA. You know, just a few minutes ago, you met with the two presidents, and you can see, you know, you believe leadership comes from the top down, and it's the presidents, and it's the coaches, and the assistant coaches, and everybody just buys into the champions of character mantra and what it is, and you can see it on the field, that there's tough, fierce competition, but they're playing with class and playing it with the right way that sports should be played.
Well, this football championship will wrap up your fall championships. What has it been like so far for the association?
It's been another successful fall. We've had a great time. Cross country was a success. Men's and women's soccer, volleyball, and of course football wraps us up for the fall. As always, then we transition to the winter, look at basketball and the other sports, but it's really been a great fall, culminating in a great football game here tonight.
Well, Alan, we appreciate you having us here. We appreciate the world-class experience you put on, not only for these teams, but of course the fans that traveled. Is there anything we can expect from the NAIA coming up?
You know, the NAIA continually strives to be the experts in this business of small college athletics, and I think you see that embodied in our two teams tonight and our presidents, and you see that across the board. So I don't want to give away any secrets, but I think you can continue to see great things, great experiences, and most importantly, great atmosphere for our student athletes.
Well, I have to ask one more question. Today, you guys did something special on this field before the football championship took place. You had a showcase for athletes to come show off their skills in front of NAIA coaches with the chance of hopefully playing for one of those schools. What was that experience like?
It was great. We had almost 130 prospective student athletes to the NAIA, and it's something we started doing roughly a year ago. Austin Bennett, our director of Showcase, kind of came up with the idea, and what it is it's a combine-style events, sports-specific, where our coaches come have access to players that, one, want to learn more about the NAIA and what it's about, and participate with our coaches and engage with them throughout the process of the recruiting. And that's one thing the NAIA rules allow for, is that engagement from coach to student athlete, and truly that personal experience. So that's what we're trying to strive for.
Well, Alan, it's definitely a one-of-a-kind experience to play for the NAIA, and I thank you so much for your time. And Drew and Forrest, I'll send it back up to you.
All right, Kristen, thank you.
First down.
Such a first-class staff with the NAIA. Jim Carr, the president and CEO. Mike Higgins, had a chance to see him again last night. Kelly Briscoe, championship event manager. Chad Waller, so instrumental in putting this game together. Alan Grossbach as well. Mark Boerichter, Forrest. This is such a first-class event. Year in and year out, we're so thrilled to be a part of it.
Well, like Alan said, it starts at the top, and all those individuals you just named are a big part of why this event is so special every year.
First down and 10 for Reinhardt. They go back to the ground. Jace Jordan takes it up to the 46-yard line. There's Mark Boerichter. He was a heck of a player back in the day. Kansas City Chiefs. Also played a little bit in the CFL. Part of the staff here at the NAIA. Great seeing Mark every year here at this very special event, the football championship for the NAIA. Try the right side now. Reinhardt trying to find an opening, and Quanti Green able to stay in bounds and cut it up to the 41. That'll be a nice pickup and a 1st and 10 for Reinhardt.
And a good job by number 26, Michaela Lanier, on the lead block on that play to give his back somewhere to run with the football.
So the running game slowly getting going here for the Eagles. Michaela Lanier in the game right now. They love to spread the wealth. Billy Hall out of the shotgun. 3 wide receivers. Gonna run it right. And Lanier takes a hit and spins to the 38 as he was hit there by Eric Dunn. Forrest, can you sense Reinhardt starting to gain a little bit more confidence? If they can get a score here, they can make this interesting.
Well, they definitely have to get a score, and I think they need to get 7. They're going to need 3 at some point in time as they're trying to tie the score, but they need to get 7. And I think it helps confidence-wise. They came out in the second half, had a 3-and-out, did not do what Coach Miller wanted them to do coming out in the second half, but defensively they forced a 3-and-out and got the ball back to their offense very quickly. Now, the thing about Reinhardt that hurts in a ball game like this when you're down by so many points is when you're a run-oriented offense, the clock continues to run. And because Hall has been very ineffective passing the football, not all his fault, because they haven't done a good job of pass blocking, it puts you in a precarious position to try and put points on the board.
Hall trying to get away from the pressure, and it finally gets to him. Pearson Harnish there to make the hit. He took a few shots, though. James Jamesich also right there in the middle of it.
And once again, the offensive line are getting beat at the point of attack. You've got to do a better job of maintaining your blocks. Eric Himmelgarn has been a problem all throughout this evening with his ability to hand fight at the point of attack and get to the quarterback.
Pearson Harnish, as smart a football player as they come. 17 tackles for loss coming into the night. And now it's 4th and 5. They're going to go for it.
And they got to get this first down.
Hall looks left, lofts it in the air. He's got a receiver, and it's caught near the 10. That's Ronnie Chambliss' first catch tonight, and oh, was it a big one.
And Wilmer Cole never turned around to locate the football. Hall got rid of the football right at the snap. A good job getting it to his receiver, allowing him to make a play, and Chambliss was able to squeeze the football and get the reception.
That was a 26-yard reception, and now the Eagles knocking on the door. Sneaking through to the 6 is Andy Wisenet, and all of a sudden starting to find some openings in that Cougar wall of a defense.
Well, you see a lot of energy on the Reinhardt side of the field. Everyone is kind of quiet right now on the St. Francis side of the field.
2nd and 5, you can pick up a first down without scoring. Here's Logue now, lunging forward. He took a hit in the backfield by Wilmer Cole, the junior defensive back, able to score through there. So it's going to be a short run.
And his body's flying all over the field. I'll tell you what, these young men are leaving it all out there. For many of them, this is the last opportunity they'll have to play college football, the last opportunity they'll have to represent their institution, and they're going to leave it all out on the field. And this is a big, big play on 3rd down. I think this is definitely 4th down territory. When you get this close to the goal line, you have to try and get a touchdown as opposed to a field goal.
Trevay Kane, the short yardage guy, in the game right now. Just power football. And the Cougars up to the task. The question is, how close did he get to that first down? Needed 2. It's going to be 4th down here and very short.
And something Reinhardt got away from that they were successful with in the first quarter is getting to the edge. They got away from running to the edge, getting to the outside. They've been gashing the St. Francis defense up the core, up the middle. I think if they try and get to the edge, they may have an opportunity not only to get a touchdown, a first down, but a touchdown.
St. Francis fans on their feet. Big play coming up. 4th and 1. Give it to number 3, and he gets off the edge. Quay Stocks sneaks in for the score. The Eagles have cut into the St. Francis lead. It's 24-13.
And they went with the jet sweep to Quay Stocks, and you see him get to the edge. Right here, to hammer the ball real quickly. He gets to the outside. I think that is where they were effective early in the ball game. They got away from that. They started gashing them down the middle of the defense, but now we have ourselves a ball game.
Well, that play was run so quickly. Lee Stewart, little shaken up, getting up slowly. Quay Stocks able to get 6. And now the Eagles will send the extra point crew on to make it a 10-point game.
And Lee Stewart didn't want to come out the ball game. That shows you the intensity of these players. You get hurt, you have to come out for at least one play. He tried to strap it up and get back and stay in the ball game.
Stewart comes off now. As the drive, 10 plays, 60 yards, just over 4 minutes. 2 4th down conversions on that drive. Certainly did not come easy. And now Marquez on to cut the lead to 10. This one's going to be blocked and no good on the extra point. That could be a big one. Instead of a 10-point game, it's an 11-point game. Credit Marcus Stepp, the junior, who got his hand in the right place. Still, it's 13 unanswered points by the Eagles of Reinhardt. 24-13 game, 5:06, 3rd quarter.
Establishing the family base camp on Daytona Beach is a time-honored ritual. Obsessive? Maybe. Scientific? Definitely. But absolutely authentic. On the original American beach. There's plenty to see on Daytona Beach, but you have the vacation chops to know. It's best to leave some of that eye candy in the wrapper. When others speedo, you speedon't. On the original American Beach.
Well, a key block on an extra point by Marcus Stepp, the junior defensive lineman for us. Take us through it.
Well, you watch Stepp get right in between the guard, the left guard, and the center. And what you have to do as an offensive lineman on field goal extra point, you've got to step over, you've got to spread your arms out, you've got to get wide. You cannot allow any gaps to be penetrated, and you saw him penetrate right through the middle of that offensive line to get the block. Now, still a two-score game, but for Reinhardt, you have to get a touchdown and a two-point conversion to tie the score. So let's see how that plays out as this game moves forward.
That certainly changes the landscape. Justin Green been a little quiet as of late. An electrifying start to this game. 2 touchdown runs, one of 80 yards.
And one of the things Coach Donnelly talked about before the half, going into halftime, was that they lost their 2 slot receivers. We saw Justin Green play some slot and get a big pass catch on one of those plays, but you have to wonder how that has affected this offense moving forward.
Green thought about it, now will take a knee. It'll be a touchback for St. Francis. So somehow Reinhardt, even though they took as many shots as they did, there were moments in this game where the Eagles looked like they were ready to mail it in. They were ready to warm up the bus, head back to Georgia. But Forrest, they somehow found a way to hang in, and they are very much in this football game.
Well, a great coach once told me, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And at halftime, you have to make adjustments. So far, so good for this Reinhardt ball club, offensively and defensively. Can they continue to get pressure on Ferrer? Can they continue to hold Justin Green down? You said it, Drew. He's been quiet for a little while. That's when a guy like him steps up and make a big play.
Hand it to Green, and he is wrapped up in the backfield. So the Eagles have his number right now. And that'll be a short loss on the play of a half yard. And it was Tevin McCoy. Those defensive ends, Dyer and McCoy, have played well tonight. I got to ask you, Forrest, that coach who told you that, is that Bobby Bowden?
Absolutely.
Figured.
That was a good guess. But I tell you what I've seen so far in the second half, the defensive line for Reinhardt has controlled at the point of attack. They've taken over. They're beating up this St. Francis offensive line. They're getting pressure on Ferrer. They're getting up the field. They're not allowing Justin Green to get going. Now, he's in the slot this time. Let's see if Ferrer tries to find him down the field.
Empty backfield for Nick Ferrer. 5 wideouts. Pick your poison, and he cannot hit his guy that time. So it falls incomplete. That one intended for Andres Gomez Espino.
And this is the effect of getting pressure on a quarterback. You don't always have to get the sack. But when you get pressure, you make a quarterback start to think fast and try and get rid of the football quickly. Nick Ferrer does not look as comfortable as he did early in this ball game.
Reinhardt crowd, they can somehow get off the field here. They will be going crazy on the visitor side. 3rd down 10. Ferrer under pressure again, has to unload it. And how about the Eagles defense? The pressure up front, just a little bit too much for Ferrer that time, and it's 4th down.
and they're getting pressure with 4 pass rushers. You've got 5 against 4, but let's see right now. He gets a 3rd step, but he's opening those shoulders once again. But you've got pressure coming Nick Ferrer's face. You've got it coming from both sides. The guards in the center have to do a better job of being stout at the point of attack to allow Ferrer to climb the pocket, and the tackles have to give him area width of the pocket to move side to side.
So Ferrer has not completed a pass yet in this second half, as ball going to be taken at the 39-yard line, and the Eagles will have it once again. Reinhardt with the chance to make this a one-score game. So 24-13, Billy Hall and company set to get back on the field. (24-13) here in the NAIA Football Championship. Drew Felios, Forrest Connolly. And if you're wondering if Billy Hall has a lot on his plate tonight, the answer is yes. Only a freshman out of Scott, Tennessee, 6'3", 170 pounds. Made a huge play in the first quarter on a drive that Reinhardt was unable to cash in on, but he's done a good job holding the fort down and playing through very imperfect football, keeping his team in the game.
And he hit a big pass to Ronnie Chambliss the last drive.
The Eagles try and pound it. And this one is going to be sent back. Lee Stewart, and on the tackle, also James Jamisic. Forrest, number 62, is the guy that Reinhardt likes to run behind. Big Xavier Carter, their center.
Well, he's a throwback type of player, not a very big guy, 5'11", 240, 250, but he's one of those guys that coaches describe as a square chin player. He's a hard worker, he's relentless, and he won't stop.
Had him on the fly, but just overshot him. Quay Stocks, and Billy Hall knows it that time.
But what I like, what I'm seeing from Reinhardt, is they're trying to pass the football. You've got to pass the ball. You've got St. Francis thinking that you're going to run the football. That means they're going to pack the box. They're going to play man on the outside. Their safeties are not deeper than the receivers. And if you can get the ball to your receiver, there's no one in the back to make sure he doesn't get to the end zone.
Jet sweep again. It's Chase Jordan looking for a block. Stays on his feet, takes it to the 47. He's going to be shy of a first down. Shy by about 2 yards.
And I tell you what, if I'm Reinhardt, I go for it right here. They've done a good job defensively of slowing down this St. Francis offense in the second half. And you don't know how long you're going to be able to keep these guys at bay. You want to keep them off the field. The best defense against a great offense is keeping them off the field.
Forrest, they're 2 of 3 on 4th down tries tonight. So why not try again? Roll the dice here. And it should be a first down. Chase Jordan had to get to the 49. He got to midfield.
And what I like about that play, he put his head down. He did not dance. He didn't second guess himself. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He planted his foot. He got north and south. He put his shoulder pass down. He ran behind him, and he ran through the defender and made sure he fell forward. And look at Coach Miller. He's squeezing. There you go, first down. And that's what you want to see. These are confidence builders for a ball club.
Now bouncing it outside, or trying to at least, is Quinny Green. And I'll tell you what, number 26 right now, McAllen Lanier, is throwing some big-time blocks right now, foe. Quinny Green running behind it, but 26 leading the way. And this Reinhardt rushing attack, you can see why they average 350 a game.
Well, Lanier's doing a good job of getting to the second-level defenders and putting the hat on the hat.
Now Hall to throw. He'll take a shot down the middle of the field. Incomplete. Ronnie Chambliss again trying to reel in his second monster catch of the night.
And that was a good job by the defender, Stan Jackson, who the teammates described as a guy that came in and brought energy to the team. You see him jump up and get his hand there. He didn't touch the ball, but I think he got his hands in the way of Chambliss being able to get a clear view of the football, because Chambliss had an opportunity to make a play on that.
Here comes the sweep again. It's Mosley. And Montravius Mosley taken down by Spencer Coward. That'll be a gain of about 4. And we're going to have a 3rd down, and I'd say about 7 coming up.
Now, I tell you, this is a big drive. They need to get points on the board because they've taken a lot of time off the clock. And with the run-oriented offense, you need to put points on the board.
Ball rolls to his left. Tosses it downfield. It's incomplete. Oh, he didn't have a defender around him. Number 85, Gordon Dudley, the sophomore out of Carrollton, Georgia, just could not bring it in, and it's going to bring up another 4th down.
Well, I think Hall second-guessed himself on that play. He had Kane open initially, and he didn't get the ball to Kane, and Kane got covered up, and he went to his secondary receiver, Gordon Dudley. He threw it behind him. Take a little bit off that football, just lead him into that play, and Dudley still may be running down the sideline.
4th down conversions have been critical in this game, and Reinhardt's going to send the punting team on the field. So Coach Miller likes his team's field position here. Why not put it in the hands of your defense? And, you know, I think he's going to call timeout, maybe give this a little bit more thought. But if they punted here, Forrest, it would not surprise me. You should ask the question, though, how can you go for it when you're on your own 40 and then punt it away when you're on the opponent's 40?
That's why I go for it. I think the difference is they only had 2 yards to get when they were on their own 40.
Offense, 5 yards, 4th down.
Well, this almost guarantees I think they'll punt it away here.
Well, they were on their own 40, but they only had 2 yards to get. They were in the midst of a drive where they were beating them up offensively, running the football right at them. St. Francis did a good job of getting a stop on that play. But this drive defensively for Reinhardt will be key, and I think offensively for St. Francis will be key. I think if St. Francis can get something going and use time on this drive, it puts them in a position to be in the driver's seat and win this ball game. For Reinhardt, they need to get a 3 and out. They need to get the ball back to their offense.
Marquez to kick it away. High kick. And it goes out of bounds near the 15-yard line. So Reinhardt, a productive drive, even though they don't get any points. And you just see as this game goes on, Coach Miller's team just trying to stay in it, have a fighting chance, a slugger's chance in the very end, because you just get the sense that it's almost like a prize fight. I know that analogy is used a lot in football. Reinhardt just refusing to go down here in their debut in the national championship game.
Well, you've got a defense that came into this ball game allowing a little bit under 14 points a game. They gave up 24 in the first half, but I think you see that 13.8 point defense the second half, the way they've shut down this St. Francis offense.
Justin Green trying to get going again. Eagles coming after him, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds. That's going to be another loss. So Reinhardt has made the adjustment defensively, and Justin Green running more laterally than north-south right now.
Well, they're doing a good job with their pursuit angles. They're not allowing Justin Green to plant that foot and get to the outside. And you've got to get out the way if you're on the sideline right now, because you've got bodies flying around.
Forrest, quick story. I was struck once on the sideline holding a camera back in my very first job. And you know what? I've never been struck since. Anytime it's coming my way, I'm out of there.
Well, you've got to keep your head on the swivel when you're on the sideline.
Without question. 2nd down and 12 now. Here's Ferrer with time. And that's the first completion of this 3rd quarter for Nick Ferrer. And it's the first catch for number 1, Andres Gomez-Espino.
And number 48, Adam Hoffer is right there, but you've got to make a play. You've got protection behind you. You've got a defender, a teammate behind you. Don't worry about allowing him to get behind you. You stay in front of the receiver, between the receiver and the quarterback. You've got to watch his eyes.
And another St. Francis receiver limping a little bit. They've already lost 2, Boswell and Blackwell, here throughout the course of this NAIA football championship. The 4 fingers in the air as we head to the final quarter. 24-13, NAIA championship. Annual tradition here in Daytona Beach, the Christmas Boat Parade. And we're not too far away here at Daytona's Municipal Stadium. This is the home of Bethune-Cookman, where the Wildcats play football. Gorgeous scene there, though. On the water, NAIA Football Championship 24-13. Game still yet to be decided. St. Francis jumped out to a 24-0 lead, but Reinhardt has scored 13 unanswered. Ferrer winding up and hitting Dan Rixey on a comeback route. So Ferrer very quiet in the third quarter after exploding out of the gates. St. Francis were to accomplish this feat, win this game tonight. Only the 15 to go back-to-back in NAIA history.
And it should not be understated how big that first down was on that third down play right there. Now they get a new set of downs and they can run more clock off. Even if they don't get a score, they're taking time away from Reinhardt, who needs time because they're a run-oriented offense.
All of a sudden, Andres Gomez-Espino starting to handle the football a lot. Run down that time by the Eagles defense. Trying to get to the sideline. And Reinhardt's defense, they were out of position a lot, Forrest, in that first quarter, especially when Justin Green was going off. They've put together a pretty nice night defensively if you take that first quarter away.
Well, it's like they played read and react defense early in the ball game, and they just decided, okay, we just got to pin our ears back and come after them. And if they beat us, they beat us. But we can't allow them to just go up and down the field.
There's Duke Blackwell on crutches, sophomore wide receiver. Knocked out tonight. Ferrer stepping back, hitting his man, Dan Pixie. What a season Dan Rixey has had, the sophomore. Over 1,000 yards rushing this year, 10 touchdowns, has become the go-to guy out of Lafayette, Indiana.
And Ferrer initially wanted to go to Zach Gegner on the outside, but he was covered up. You see him go through his progressions, and Rixey comes back to the football to get the reception and is able to turn up the field and get positive yards. Watch Rixey, he comes back to the football. He didn't wait for it to get to him, and he's able to turn up the field and get positive yards.
I was surprised when we asked Ferrer, who's the guy that's had the most impact on you this year? He said, my sophomore, Dan Rixey. Oh, good play that time as 48. Dawson Mitchell just shot through there. He's got 50 tackles on the season, the leader of the defense. First time we've called his name.
And a good job by Mitchell hitting the gap. Number 77 has to do a better job, Jalen Gamble, of blocking the linebacker. You can't just chicken wing. You've got to run through him. If he runs through him with Justin Green's ability, he may be able to bounce that back to the inside, but you can't chicken wing a player like Dawson Mitchell that's flying downhill.
Loss of 5 and the hard count. Looks like they drew a defender off. Ferrer's going to have a free play. Launch it up. Incomplete. But St. Francis may be getting that 5 yards they lost back here.
Offsides. Number 90 of defense. 5 yards to play the down.
Is that a heads-up play by Ferrer to launch it downfield, knowing he had a free play?
Absolutely. That's what you're taught to do as a quarterback. And that's a sign of fatigue where you've got both defensive ends jumping off sides.
So they get the 5 yards back, and it's second down, a little more than 10. Keep an eye on Justin Green. Fake it to him. Ferrer surveying the field. Wants the home run. And it's incomplete. Rocky James looked like there was some contact down there, but Nick Johnson not called. Good coverage.
And I think what Nick Johnson did on that play that was very important, and which also allowed him to avoid the call, was he was looking back at the football. Defenders have the same right as the offensive player to go for the football, and you see him looking the entire time at the football. That is a great job by Nick Johnson.
So it's third down 11. Third and fourth down, so critical tonight.
And something interesting on that last play, nobody went with Justin Green as he flared out to the outside.
Another player may have jumped, or did an offensive lineman move here?
I think it was Justin Green.
False start. 17 offense. 5 yards. 3rd down.
He turned his head ever so slightly right before the snap of the football. We didn't quite get it on that play. It was real quick, but he turned his head. And it's almost like he realized right when he got ready to turn his head to go to the outside, the ball hadn't been snapped yet.
Eagles need the football back. Penalties. St. Francis, that was only their 4th of the night. Reinhardt has been flagged 6 times.
Now watch, once again, will a defender go with Justin Green out on the flat?
Green a blocker this time. Ferrer setting his feet, firing, and letting Dan Rixey do the rest. He's going to be stopped well shy of a 1st down, right at midfield. And now if you're St. Francis, you got 4th down. The punting team will come on. So Rixey productive on that drive, but no more points for the Cougars, at least for now.
Well, if you're St. Francis, you want to play field position football. You know you're playing against a ball club that is run-oriented, and running the football, they're going to run time off the clock. So you want them to play against the clock as well as play against your defense.
Ronnie Chambliss back to receive this punt. And we may have a timeout on the field.
Timeout. Reinhardt.
So the Eagles burning that timeout. Let's see if that comes back to bite them late in the game. 11:32 to play here in Daytona.
Establishing the family base camp on Daytona Beach is a time-honored ritual. Obsessive? Maybe. Scientific? Definitely. But absolutely authentic. On the original American beach. There's plenty to see on Daytona Beach, but you have the vacation chops to know. It's best to leave some of that eye candy in the wrapper. When others speedo, you speedon't. On the original American Beach.
The NAIA National Championship is brought to you by NAIA Eligibility Center, providing athletic opportunities for over 65,000 student athletes. Visit playnaia.org today. Punting situation for St. Francis. Joe Knepper on the field to kick it away. Another low kick. And this one will be squeezed by Ronnie Chambliss. It'll be 1st down from the 17-yard line for Reinhardt. So for the Eagles tonight, it's been 2 quarterbacks that have led them here to this championship, but we have seen just all Billy Hall up to this point. The freshman has done a good job holding the 4th down and leading for the Eagles, but with 11:26 to play, a 2-score game. The opportunities to pass the ball have been there.
And I think when you look at a true freshman starting in the national championship game, because they don't pass the ball as often, it's not as big of a deal. But when you're in a game like this where you need to be able to pass the ball, it becomes a big deal.
Trying to take a shot here. He's got his man, but just out of bounds. Quay Stocks made a great catch, but just nowhere near getting the feet in. There you see Dylan Wiggins. No word on whether he is injured from up here in the booth. Over 1,100 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
And whether he's injured or not, the one thing I like that he's done throughout this ball game is stayed in the ball game, stayed involved. He's a part of the play calling.
Yeah, so many times you see a quarterback become disengaged whenever they're not playing. Good job, Dylan. Wisenet now, another jet sweep. That is a tough play to stop when the Eagles come at you like that. Driven out of bounds this time by number 41, Wilmer Cole.
Well, the tackles are doing a good job of getting outside leverage. You see number 64, he's pushing. He doesn't hold. That's what you have to do. If you can't get outside leverage like you want to, you just take the defender where they want to go and feel good about your back being able to cut off of your block.
Hall takes a shot this time and driven down by Pearson Harnish. You know, if you're Billy Hall, you may be one of the faster guys on the field, but this guy, Pearson Harnish, he runs like a wide receiver.
Well, Hall had nowhere to go with the football, and I thought he did a good job of tucking it, getting as many yards as he could. Both receivers on that side of the field were covered up, and they had safety help over the top, and he would have taken a chance by trying to pass the football. I thought it was a good decision by Hall.
Another guy who could have a chance at the next level, Pearson Harnish. Second down, Billy Hall rifles it to Stocks. Eric Dunn made the stop up to the 34. So we're going to have a third down and call it 4 yards coming up.
And Stocks was able to get out of bounds initially, but the clock is starting back, so you have to see a sense of urgency by this Reinhardt ball club.
Jet sweep time. This is Quaney Green looking for the edge. Green gets it to the outside and a first down for Reinhardt.
And this is a big drive for Reinhardt. I think they've got to score on this drive. But you see, once again, Quaney Green getting to the outside. The offensive linemen are doing a good job of just taking the defenders where they want to go. And you've got backs and receivers that can get around the edge. And when they're able to get north and south, they're able to get those positive yards needed for the first down.
Here's Lanier. He's been used as a blocker pretty much the entire game. And he's taken down this time by Eric Dunn. He has played one tough football game for the Eagles as he goes to the far sideline.
And for Reinhardt, they have to continue to have a sense of urgency. They need to line up on the football, snap it as quickly as possible, and try and get positive yards.
Hall tries to take it himself. Harnish coming at him. And the Cougar defense not full, trying to strip the football away. Hall able to hang on to it. He goes down at the 42.
And I thought Hall should have handed the ball off to Andy Wisenet on that play. He had an opportunity to get around the edge. Watch number 2 come around. I think he should have handed it to him. You saw 93 Jordan May right there, but I think Wisenet could have beaten May around the edge. We've got a receiver versus a defensive end. There's a lot more quickness and speed, and I think Wisenet could have gotten around May and gotten positive yards.
Third down has not been kind to Reinhardt tonight. Only 3 of 13. They need 9 here.
And this is definitely 4th down territory.
Hall to throw, steps up. A little bit of room in the middle of that defense as he softens it up just a little bit. Gets it near midfield, about 3 yards shy of a first down. So, do you go for it here?
You have to. You have no choice. If you kick the ball and Hall is down, and you hate to see that, now we definitely will see Wiggins. But I thought Hall made a good decision to run that football and get those positive yards and put them in 4th and 4.
There is a hush right now in this stadium as the freshman quarterback Billy Hall down on the turf, and it looks like we are going to see Dylan Wiggins here with just over 8 minutes to play, and Reinhardt needing a 4th down conversion. Let's take one more look.
And St. Francis brought the house on this play, and Hall did a good job of climbing up in the pocket, tucking it. He saw all the defenders with their heads behind them because they were in man coverage.
Well, hopefully just had the wind knocked out of him, but they are treating the right or left ankle of Billy Hall. We'll step aside.
Establishing the family base camp on Daytona Beach is a time-honored ritual. Obsessive? Maybe. Scientific? Definitely. But absolutely authentic. On the original American beach. There's plenty to see on Daytona Beach, but you have the vacation chops to know. It's best to leave some of that eye candy in the wrapper. When others speedo, you speedon't. On the original American beach.
Everything that I do can have an impact on somebody else.
You can dream any dream and you can chase any dream, and you can have a chance to succeed at that dream.
We're here just a speck of time.
Given the opportunities to be selfless.
That's what God does with us.
Not forgetting how you got here and who helped you along the way.
What are you doing for others?
Those to whom much has been given, much is expected.
You will be inspired.
You will be prepared.
Education, if it's good, it should change us.
Obvious concern on the Reinhardt sideline. Billy Hall could be done for the night after going down. Looks like it is the left ankle they're looking at. And Dylan Wiggins, talk about coming in a pressure situation. It's 4th down and 4, and somebody may have jumped early. If this is on St. Francis, it will be a 1st down for Reinhardt. Would that be a gift?
Offside. Number 98 in the defense with contact. 5 yards. 1st down.
And that's the nose tackle, Eric Himmelgarn. And you're right over the football. There's no reason for him to jump off sides. He should not move until he sees the ball move. That's someone trying to anticipate the snap count.
See 10 and 19, both on crutches. Duke Blackwell and Sean Boswell, 2 wide receivers. St. Francis lost earlier tonight. So that's the 8th 1st down for Reinhardt in the 2nd half. Dylan Wiggins, now the jet sweep. Here it comes. Jace Jordan looking for a block, and he's taken down at the 41-yard line. Good job stringing out by Eric Dutton.
And the one thing that Reinhardt has been consistent with is getting to the edge of this St. Francis defense and getting positive yards. Once again, you see number 21, Jace Jordan right here, is able to plant that foot right here and get positive yards up the field.
And you see the right ankle there twisted just a little bit as he came off the field limping. Wiggins back to throw. And the avalanche finally gets to him of Cougars. He'll be taken down for a 2-yard loss. And that's big number 97, James Jamesich.
And once again, you've got to be able to block 4 with 5. That has been an issue throughout this evening for the Reinhardt offensive line. You outnumber them by 1 offensive lineman. You've got to be able to block 4 with 5.
3rd down and 6, again, likely 4-down territory for the Eagles. Under 7 minutes to play now. Run the jet sweep right. Quanti Green Just no room to run over there. Spencer Coward delivered the big hit, and it'll be another 4th down. You just get the sense that the Eagles kind of running out of field to work with.
Also running out of time. You've got 6 minutes and 37, 36, 35 seconds left in this ball game. You've got to get points on the board. You've got to get a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal just to tie the ball game. This is the play of the game right now.
Wiggins from the shotgun. 3 wideouts on the field. Caught at the 30 and down at the 28. So how about that?
Well, Wiggins is the more effective passer of the 2 quarterbacks, and you see right there, able to hit his receiver in traffic. He stood very tall and very confident in the pocket.
Ace Williams, his first catch of the night. Oh, was that ever big? Wiggins to throw again. Has a man breaking free and overshot him. Wisenet was behind the defense. The ball just placed a little bit too far.
And that's an example of a quarterback's eyes getting huge when he sees his receiver break open. And Wiggins knows he missed it on this one. He put a little bit too much on the football. If you take a little bit off, Wisenet is wide open for the touchdown. But what I like right now from Reinhardt is they're taking shots down the field. They've become more of a vertical passing team with Wiggins in the ballgame.
15th play of the drive here. Set up the run again. This is Stocks. He has been so effective. Look at him lower the boom there. Helmet to helmet with Wilmer Cole. That is big boy football.
And I tell you what, Wilmer Cole got up trying to bump him, but I think Stocks won that battle. Watch number 3 bring the people's elbow and lay it on Wilmer Cole. Yes, sir. That's exactly what you want to do to a defender. You want to run up here? You better put your head down and get ready to get hit.
They're down at 3 now. Hit it up in the hole, and the Eagles get it to the 15. Tell you what, you got to like the will, the resilience of Reinhardt. McAllen Lanier toting the rock once more. Move the chains again. And it's a 1st down at the 14-yard line. Clock continues to run, though.
And you got to get a sense of urgency. You got to go for 2, but you got to get the touchdown first.
On this one right, here's Stocks. And he'll be dragged down by number 20, Blake Schumacher. Schumacher's got 5 interceptions this year, but obviously Reinhardt has not passed the ball much tonight. So he's had to become a run stopper.
Well, the defense is doing a good job of getting up the field. Look at the blue defenders getting up the field, giving a lane for their safeties and cornerbacks and their back-end defenders like Schumacher to make a play. I look for them to now run a fake jet sweep play action and get the ball to one of their receivers on the outside.
Here's Mosley. Montrelius Mosley stretching out, getting to the 10. Another helmet comes off. Pearson Harnish lost his hat that time, and let's see if he has to come off the field. So much going on tonight. We've had some injuries. Billy Hall, the latest to go down. Kristen's got an update. Kristen, what have you got?
Well, I just spoke to Reinhardt Sports Information Director, and he said Hall is probable to return. The training staff is currently working on a possible sprained right ankle. Drew?
Well, question is here. If Reinhardt does not score, we got a timeout on the field.
30-second timeout. That's the first charge timeout and a half.
If they don't score on this play, should Reinhardt kick a field goal and get within 8? Interesting. That scenario could happen when we come back. Well, Sister Mary Elise Chris has watched St. Francis win 22 games in a row. Can they get their 23rd? For a repeat national championship? 3rd and 7, and Reinhardt's going to be well shy of a first here. So the question I asked before the break, if you are the Eagles, do you try a field goal? Forrest, I ask you.
I think you have to try a field goal right now. But the one thing about their field goal kicker is he has not been successful throughout this evening. So are they confident in him in taking a field goal attempt? Will you get this close again?
Instead, they're going to try and take a shot on 4th and 6. Billy Hall lets go of it. And is it intercepted? It's incomplete. It doesn't matter. The Cougars get the defensive stand.
And that's why it's such a iffy play. I didn't like the play on third down. I thought they should have tried to throw the ball on third down. But you see right here, pressure on Wiggins coming from the backside, coming in his face. Pearson Harnish got away with one right there. He could have been called on that play because he took a shot at Wiggins after he released the football.
That's a big one. St. Francis now starting to sense it with 4:06 to play. And their offense has had a nice rest on the sideline. And how about Pearson Harnish and the defense? Blake Schumacher, Spencer Coward making their presence felt. Ball back to Nick Ferrer and Justin Green. Green running to the sideline, now goes down, stays inbound. A good, smart heads-up move there as the clock continues to run.
Well, you saw what Green did. He was getting ready to go out of bounds. He realized he was going to stop the clock, so he turned back inside. He didn't care about yards. What he wanted to do is keep the clock running.
22 games in a row for St. Francis. Win tonight would make it 23. Daytona Beach has become their favorite second home. An 11-point lead here with just over 3 minutes. Here's Green again. A little bit of shake, lowers the shoulder to the 17. And now third down. If you're Reinhardt, you got to take a timeout. We'll use one here.
And I tell you what, I feel confident in saying that St. Francis will not throw the football again this evening. I would be shocked if they throw the football. Because even if they don't get the first down, you want to force Reinhardt to use their timeouts.
Well, it's time to announce our NAIA Player of the Game. Our NAIA Player of the Game brought to you by the NAIA Eligibility Center, providing athletic opportunities for over 65,000 student athletes. Visit playnaia.org. And guess who? Justin Green. This run, you think the biggest play of the game for us?
Absolutely. He broke it wide open. The ability he showed on that play, the vision, the bouncing to the outside ability, and you see here, getting to the edge, untouched, easy score. I'll tell you what, he has had a phenomenal game, and he is as advertised.
Third down, hand it to Green again, delayed time. And Justin Green gets it to the 22, takes a hard hit by number 15, Jalen Holloman. But it will be a first down, and that is going to just about ice this game.
And why not give to Justin Green to do it? He's done it all afternoon for this ball club. Along with Nick Ferrer and these receivers, he's done it all season.
Coach Donnelly sensing it. And he's done it all season. These Cougars have done it all season.
And I got a question. Do you think coming into this ball game there was a bit of stage fright from the Reinhardt Ball Club? You've got a lot of players in an atmosphere they've never been a part of. The world is watching. You're playing for something that you start the season as a goal to accomplish, and you're playing against a team that's beat you twice, a team that's been here.
Yeah, clearly took Reinhardt about a quarter and a half to settle in. By then they were trailing 24-0. Kristen, the St. Francis program, simply remarkable.
Well, Drew, you mentioned it. They are riding an NAIA best 22-game winning streak, and Coach Donnelly has found a formula for success. His idea is simple. It's character plus process equals positive results. He expects his players to be men of their words, and when somebody's not holding up their end of the bargain, they have family talks. He smiled when he shared that one with us and says, talk about true peer pressure. He said he wants his athletes to be passionate. And if you're going to talk the talk, you better walk the walk. And they've done that so far in this game.
Yeah, Coach Donnelly, I mean, he added that, Forrest, we concern ourselves with things that we have control of. We don't worry about the things we don't have control of. Football's an 11-month process. They're going to celebrate this national championship, take about a month off, and then get right back to it in the winter, get ready for spring football. Eventually it rolls into the summer. It's a process. It's a true program at St. Francis. They have got the preparation process, the building process down to perfection, courtesy of Coach Donnelly.
And I think they'll have to start with finding someone to replace Nick Ferrer. He's been a key cog in their championship quest the last 2 seasons. He's been the most important reason outside of Justin Green that they've been so effective offensively.
Mid-States Football Association pumping out national champions. St. Francis, the latest juggernaut. Marion, Grandview, St. Xavier as well, taking home titles. St. Francis with an enrollment of just over 2,324 to be exact. The pride of Fort Wayne, Indiana. They love their football, and this guy right here, Nick Ferrer, when he entered the program as a freshman, he looked at the Wall of Fame at St. Francis and said, I want to be on that wall one day. I think after tonight, he eventually will be. Justin Green gets to the outside, now cuts it back. So exciting to watch to the 34. Keep in mind, he's only a junior.
Well, there were 2 or 3 things that he did special on that play. He got to the outside. He saw the first down. He got the first down. He did a stop and go. And then when he realized he was going to be pushed out of bounds, he got back to the inside. You see right here, he gets to the outside. He's north and south. And they stop, stutter steps, gets the first down, and then makes sure he falls in bounds to keep the clock running.
Coming up on a minute to play. The celebration has already started on the St. Francis sideline and in the crowd. This crowd is going crazy.
And I tell you what, those Reinhardt kids should hold their heads up high. They've had a great season. You know, knew coming into this ball game, one team had to lose, one team had to win. Unfortunately for Reinhardt, they didn't get it going until it was too late and St. Francis was too far ahead.
Yeah, good job by the Eagles to hang in there and really make this a fight to the end. But Coach Donnelly already celebrating on that side. A couple decades he has spent at St. Francis building the program. What a job he has done. Now the winningest coach in NAIA history. So Justin Green, our outstanding player of the game, also voting in the press box. The NAIA, Eric Dutton on defense. Now things getting a little bit chippy on the field as reality setting in for Reinhardt. 2017 is not going to be their championship year. Trevor Carlton will come off the field.
And I think it's just a gentleman thing to do when a team is in a victory formation not to fire off and try and hit an offensive player.
After play's over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 23, the offense. That foul stopped the clock. There'll be a 10-second runoff. Please set the game clock to 5 seconds. We'll start on my ready.
I think he meant the defense that time. Coach Donnelly took a little bath on the near side. It's the best ice bath he's ever had in his life, I guarantee it. The St. Francis Cougars are back-to-back national champions in NAIA football. And that picture right there says it all. Coach and quarterback, a moment neither one will ever forget.
What a great, great moment for the St. Francis Ball Club. to not only win a national championship, but repeat, defend their title from last season. Coach Donnelly talked about some tough ball games they had this year and how they had to persevere. And you see the results of all the dedication in the offseason and the preparation by the coaching staff, by the players, the sacrifices.
And even though they're doing it again the second time in 2 years, Force, you just sense this moment never gets old. It even gets better as years go on. Justin Green, what a night for the junior running back. Just put on a show, an 80-yard touchdown run, and the difference maker as Reinhardt was trying to chase him down. He'll be back next year in NAIA football for sure. So 24-13, the final score. Lots more hugs to be given here in the coming minutes, coming hours, coming days.
And once again, I want to tip my hat to this Reinhardt Ball Club. 5 years of existence, and they're playing for a national title. They will be back. And I think those kids should hold their heads up high because they made it farther than anyone expected them to make it.
Certainly did. Finished their season at 12-1. Went through a lot. Talked about playing in the honor of their assistant coach, Quentin Moses, who was lost during the offseason. They dedicated the season to him. Nothing to be ashamed of as they head back to Georgia. But right now, the moment belongs to St. Francis, the Cougars, representing the Mid-States Football Association. They were champions in 2016 and champions in 2017 as well. Nick Ferrer, what is next for this young man? Professional football or Force? There are a lot of corporations that are recruiting this young man right now. They want him to enter the business world because, as Coach Donnelly says, he is a winner.
Well, I tell you what, one of those corporations should be an NFL ball club because this young man has the moxie, he has the size, and I think he can help a ball club with his ability to pass the football, to read defenses, and the accuracy with which he passes the football.
Somewhere in that mop seat down on the field is our own Kristen Berard. Will join her in just a moment, as it is sheer bedlam right now on the field in a very positive way, as the Cougars are taking another NAIA football championship back to Fort Wayne. There you see big number 98, Eric Hemmelgarn, the senior. Coach Donnelly still embracing family. Other guys playing a key role tonight. Dan Rixey, the sophomore wide receiver. Forrest, I think he was outstanding. So was Zach Gegner as well.
I think everyone played well. I hated to see some of their receivers go down. We hope that those guys are going to be okay. But for the St. Francis Ball Club, a job completed.
Well, somewhere in that mob of people is our Kristen Bedard with the head coach of St. Francis. Kristen?
Well, Coach Donnelly, you did it. You and your team won back-to-back national titles. How proud of this team are you?
I couldn't be prouder of a group of guys. We had a lot of adversity, injuries today. Played hard, fought through a tough afternoon.
Well, you got to celebrate here in Daytona last year, but how different is tonight's celebration going to be?
Well, obviously it's very special to go back-to-back. Not too many teams have done that, and we're obviously very excited and proud that we are one of those.
Well, Coach, you had some standout players make some big moments for you. Talk about Justin Green's play for your offense and this team tonight.
Jay Green's just been solid. He's a big play guy all year. We had to get a first down there at the end to close it out. He made it happen. Breaks tackles and makes plays.
So I have to ask, how special was this win for your senior class?
Well, this senior class really created the championship culture. And for them to go out with back-to-back national titles is exactly what they deserve. Get that out of your mouth.
Well, Coach, it is my pleasure to present you with the NAIA Tom Osborne National Championship Trophy.
So as the trophy is hoisted for St. Francis, saw Coach Donnelly in another coaching moment there for
I love it. I love it. The father figure never stops being a father. Get that out of your mouth. I love Coach Donnelly.
One of the greats, for sure. Connor Holcomb, the center, also in that crowd, number 60. Played an outstanding game. 4.0 GPA. Going to be an orthopedic surgeon. You talk about a young man with a bright future. Connor Holcomb, one of those guys. Everybody wants a piece of the trophy right now. That is going to have a very special place on campus in Fort Wayne. Well, it's clear with the Cougars. Now they've gone back-to-back. Force no reason that they can't be here again next year, the year after that. I think what Coach Donnelly has established is a program over the past couple of years that we've seen here in Daytona that at the end of the day has players just a little bit more talented, a little bit better coached than everybody else. Would you agree?
Absolutely. When you've got a running back like Justin Green that can break it open from anywhere on the field, it allows you to be a special offense. And when you've got a quarterback like Nick Ferrer, the reigning player of the year in the NAIA, it allows you to get it down the field throwing the football. I think the big key for St. Francis moving forward is who will come in and replace Nick Ferrer. But when you've got Justin Green, it makes that just a little bit easier for whatever or whoever the quarterback will be.
Plenty of picturesque moments right now. Let's send it to Kristen with the NAIA Player of the Year.
Well, Nick, last night you learned you were Player of the Year. Tonight you win back-to-back national championship. What is going through your mind right now?
A lot of emotions. You know, it's been a year for us full of adversity, and we always find a way to win, no matter what the circumstance. I just can't say enough about our team. The legacy that we seniors leave with back-to-back national titles, everything, my personal accomplishments, I owe all of my teammates and my coaches. I've been blessed. So.
What's next for you?
I'm not sure. I mean, I would love an opportunity at a team camp, and I'd love to chase that dream at the next level. And we'll see how all that pans out. You know, obviously I have a business degree. I'll be graduating here in the spring, so looking forward to that as well. So whatever life throws at me next, I'll be ready to tackle it. So.
Well, I know you'll be ready to celebrate tonight. What are you looking forward to most when you think about this national championship win?
I think just the legacy that we left as seniors, our senior class, to win. Not a lot of people get to win their last collegiate game, so to be able to say that I was a champion, back-to-back champion, and to leave at St. Francis with that legacy, winning my last game of my career, something that's truly special. So,
thank you, Nick. Congratulations, and to your entire team. Drew?
All right, thank you, Kristen. What a scene. Here at Municipal Stadium in Daytona, St. Francis has gone back-to-back, led by the Player of the Year, Nick Ferrer, and the superstar, Justin Green. You know what? Before we sign off, we're going to send it right back. Justin Green is with Kristen. I think 17 needs a little FaceTime as well. Kristen?
Well, Justin, you and Nick were the ultimate of this offense tonight. What was it like, especially when you broke it open with that first 80-yard touchdown?
It feels great. Have wonderful teammates. Me and Nick are, we're the leaders, but I couldn't have done it without the whole team. To the receivers, to the linemen, everybody did their job, and we ended up getting the W, and I'm very proud and thankful.
What does a back-to-back title mean to you?
It means everything. Coach Donnelly talked about this forever ago, winter weights, and he talked about making history, and we did, so it feels great.
Nick has always talked about the legacy you leave behind for your underclassmen. How has that bar been set for St. Francis players moving forward?
The bar's been set high, man. I'm ready to get another one, go back to back to back. So I'm extremely proud and extremely happy, and there's no better feeling.
Well, Justin, congratulations on this win. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Drew?
All right, thank you so much. Justin Green, what a player, what a career, what a future. The Cougars, led by their legendary head coach, Kevin Donnelly, celebrate Another NAIA football championship. There's the final score. Forrest, your final thoughts here from Daytona.
I'll tell you what, I think this Reinhardt ball club has a lot to look forward to. They were able to hold Justin Green to 20 yards rushing in the second half. So that's something to hang their hat on. I just think they came out a bit slow, a bit rocky because it was their first time. And for Nick Ferrer and Justin Green, they are as advertised. One of the best running back, quarterback tandems we've ever seen in NAIA football.
Well, it's been a fabulous night here at the 62nd NAIA Football National Championship. To learn more about the NAIA, visit us at naia.org. Hope you enjoyed it. What a night here in Daytona. For Forrest Connolly and Kristen Bedard, along with our fabulous crew, I'm Drew Fellio saying so long. Final score 24-13. St. Francis champions again. To watch this game on replay as well as others on our family of networks, go to watchespn.com or download the app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.